top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
After 2 weeks of qualifying, after the duels that were very excited and less caution-filled last Monday night, 43 drivers nestled from 53 eventual entries will now battle it out for round number 1 of the SIM500 Call Me 811 Cup Series. Monday night, round 1, the Daytona 500K. 120 laps of racing around the virtual World Center of Racing. We welcome you to the 5th annual Daytona 500K on your home for sim racing. This is iRacing on LSRTV. We're at the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Good evening. I am Wesley Outland, the voice of the SIM500 Cup Series. Joined alongside is Junior, my color analyst, inside and driver throughout the evening will be Kevin England, also in the production booth. Of course, we also have Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten in the production in the LSRTV truck in Wichita Falls, Texas. John, I bring it to you. Going to be a fun time. 43 drivers. This is going to be a good race. And obviously, you want to start big in the first race of the point series.
Yeah, Wesley, you do want to start big in the first race of the point series, but you want to be able to finish the thing too. So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of different mindsets coming into this thing. Some of these guys are going to want to get out front, stay out front. Some of these guys are going to want to follow the back and take it easy, let the madness happen until the last 15, 20 laps. So we'll see how it plays out. But man, am I excited for this. It's 43 of the absolute best you're going to see in iRacing, folks, here at Daytona International Speedway.
And it is sunset here at the Virtual World Center of Racing. You already see sunset as you look at the aerial coverage. The lights are illuminated around this 2.5-mile racetrack. That's going to also make it intriguing and interesting to see how things go on throughout the night. Want to bring in our analyst throughout the evening. That is Kevin England. Kevin, your take of some drivers that we're going to be watching tonight, and of course some other things that are going to be happening here in the next 15 minutes as practice is wrapping up, and then we get ready to grid for the first race of the series.
Hey Wesley, welcome. Thanks for having me. You know, I look at this, and one thing I'm not looking for is Daniel Falkingham. That's a really surprising thing to say for SIM500. I've seen Daniel run these races. He runs wide open, right up out in the front. And, you know, as we were talking about before, 1 out of 4 races, the guy wins. He's just a machine, but when it comes to these tracks, he struggles. I'm looking for a couple other guys, maybe Donnie Leah, maybe Josh Parker. You know, Josh showed up here, surprised everybody by pulling down the pole, although he's the last year's champion, and I think he's going to have a strong race here tonight. But you know what? When it comes to these racetracks like Daytona and Talladega, you just can't put a pin on who's going to win this thing.
Yeah, you really don't know what's going to happen here. That's why they'll drop the green flag as you're still looking at the beautiful overhead view, the aerial coverage. Look at to the west end of the speedway, and if you look a little further in the sunset, you'll see the Atlantic Ocean in the horizon, because actually just about 6 miles from the Daytona International Speedway on US 1 on Speedway Boulevard is the ocean. It takes you right to the bridge, to the ocean. Of course, there's just some of the virtual aerial shots. It is amazing what iRacing has done to make these racing facilities look so similar for point coverage. Race information, bottom left of the monitor. Practice session is going on. Now remember, the field was set from qualifying 2 weeks ago. You had that live on LSRTV. The duels last Monday night set the field, those two 30-lap twin races. Comfortable events, not caution field, John. And now this field of 43 drivers will go at it for 500 kilometers, 120 laps around Daytona.
120 laps, and I tell you, man, I just can't wait, Wesley, to be honest with you. I wish we could just roll this next 10 minutes, go, get it out the way, and grid these guys up. But, man, it's going to be exciting. We're looking at, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last week we saw between 35 and 40 laps on fuel, so we'll see a bunch of, hopefully, green flag pit stops tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Weather conditions tonight, bottom right of the monitor, check them out. Air temp is 77 degrees. Track temp 80 degrees, only 3 degrees warmer than that. Wind speed, nice, comfortable. Going to be a great night of racing here. Kevin, we mentioned some drivers. You mentioned some guys like, obviously, Daniel Falkingham, Josh Parker, looking to be the man that's the defending champion of the SIM500 811 NC 811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series. Ready to go. He's on the pole here tonight. One driver we're not going to be seeing tonight is Joey Jatina, and you've got information on what happened.
Yeah, Joey Jatina was looking at the scoring and race lead up and decided to beg off of this. Not sure if that's going to open a slot for somebody else. We'll see as they bring their cars to the grid. But Joey Jatina going to step aside, not going to run here tonight. That's a difficult choice for him, but I guess he felt the right choice. And one of the things about Joey is he's good at these racetracks. He's run ARCA for real on this racetrack and has an affinity for it. But, well, tonight he's going to be sitting on the sideline. I was thinking about all the other drivers that are sitting over there with him. Notables going home from qualifying. Brian Cook, 2020 dual race winner of Daytona, winner of the November 18th event at Talladega, so he knows how to get it done. Another notable name not in the field that I mentioned, E.J. O'Rourke. Didn't try to qualify, but he won the Xfinity race. There was a lot of buzz in that race last night, and everybody getting prepped for this evening. Justin Mons missed the race through qualifying, but secured his spot through running the fastest single qualifier time for the non-qualified group. He's going to go off in the 42nd spot tonight. So we have 10 drivers painfully sitting on the sideline, but they'll be able to give it a go next week when we go left coast racing at the Auto Club Speedway. Wesley, you can be sure that all of them are going to put in a few more hours to make the cut for the next go-round.
Yeah, pretty much the NC 811 Call Before You Dig SIM500 Cup Series mimics what the new NASCAR Cup Series schedule is to a certain extent. So we'll definitely look forward to seeing what Auto Club Speedway provides. John, I bring you back in the fold, the next-gen car. What's your take of what we've seen? Obviously, we're going to see a different package coming up here in this fixed series. Remember, 2 attempts at a green-white checker if necessary. We had some wild racing in the duels last week, but now we have a full car field. We had less than 20 cars in the two duel races last week. Now you got a full pack, 43 cars. What type of a race do you think we're going to see for 500 kilometers coming up tonight?
I believe we're going to see an action-packed race tonight, Wesley. One thing I have noticed over the last couple of weeks is iRacing really nailed it with this car as far as the handling goes, how hard and difficult it is for this car to, once you get out of shape, to save it. I don't know if you guys watched the real life racing for Auto Club that we're going to next week, but yesterday's race happened yesterday. They had 12 cautions. The real life, let me say that again, the real life Cup cars had 12 cautions at Fontana. It sounds like an iRacing event almost, doesn't it? I mean, this car is a handful for the real life guys. It's a handful for the SIM500 guys. And we're going to see that tonight. We saw it last week. Some of these guys got a little bit out of shape. And once that back end yaws out, Wesley, it's very hard to catch it. Unlike with the old car, it was sealed to the ground, right? And what I mean by that is you had no air getting underneath the car. Even when it got sideways, those side skirts were down on the ground and kept the air from getting underneath this car. Well, between the front splitter, the ride height, and that rear diffuser on this new car, all kinds of air can get underneath that car. And the way the car is designed on the bottom, it's a flat steel sheet. There's no, channeling. There's no, you don't have any exposure to the drive shaft, stuff like that. So it's just like a flat, basically a wing. And when these guys step out, we saw it last week, when they step out, it's very hard to catch this car. So look for a lot of interesting driving tonight, I guess, for lack of a better word.
6 minutes to go from this practice session warm-up ending, and then we go 120 laps around Daytona. Under the lights, you've got it right here. The NC811. Call before you dig with the 100 Esports League. We will step away. We'll have more coverage from Daytona. This is iRacing on LSRTV.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
For the LSRTV, feel the roar in Daytona as the field comes to green at the world's center of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. Back here live at Daytona International Speedway. Less than 3.5 minutes remain before the field grids for the Daytona 500K. Round number 1 of the SIM500 Esports League sanctioned NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series here tonight from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Wesley Outland, John Muschin. We also have Kevin England as one of our driver analysts. They will be giving us insight, Kevin will, throughout this series of drivers we should watch. One driver that I think of is Jeff Ryan. Kevin, give us some history about this star we'll see here tonight.
Yeah, Jeff Ryan is one of those guys that's been around forever, and he has a sneaky disposition. He's a little bit like David Pearson, if you will. He kind of rides out in the back. In fact, he teams up with his brother, Tommy. They just kind of ride out in the back and show up at the end. Jeff Ryan's shown quite a bit of speed lately. I've seen him up front in all different types of racetracks over the winter season. He's upped his game, and between himself and his and his teammate there, Tommy, the two of them can join together and make an impact in this race. I look for Jeff Ryan to have a good night here tonight at Daytona.
I'll tell you what, John, Jeff Ryan, he was kind of one of those drivers we kept an eye on last week in the duels.
Yes, he was, Wesley. As somebody who's been a part of this crew for a while, the SIM500 League, I should say, I've seen Jeff really improve over the last couple of years. He's one of the 3 or 4 drivers that I've watched really just grow with his racecraft as far as get around these tracks. He's really good at Daytona and Talladega, but I'd also keep my eye on him later on, like when we go to Auto Club, Texas, places like that.
Just under 90 seconds away. Some of the cars already coming down onto the pit lane for service and making final adjustments on the machine. Some getting one more lap in, maybe less than that, as the clock is ticking down here before we get ready to send them off for 500 kilometers, 120 laps, which is basically 300 miles around the Daytona International Speedway. John, this is going to be a long race. You got to set yourself, you got to pace yourself to be there at the end for sure.
Yes, well, that's my mindset anyway, Wesley. I am one of those guys, people have said, I'm not very aggressive on these tracks at the start of a race. And I know a lot of people in this group that are like that. You'll see a few maybe fade to the back, drop down on the inside and on the back stretch after lap 1 or 2, get out of the way and let all the chaos that we think might happen here happen. Save their tires, save their car, make sure there's no damage on it. So when the last 15, 20 laps come up, they start charging to the front. And then on the other side of that coin, Wes, you're going to have guys like, Falkingham, guys like that want to be up front every lap. They want to lead or at least be as close as they can to it. And you're going to see that throughout the night.
15 seconds. It is now beginning to get silent around the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Round number 1, mere moments from getting underway. The final clock ticks down. The field will get assembled behind the iRacing pace car. And real quickly, Kevin, your pick to win the race.
I'm looking at Tommy Ryan. I really think this is going to be his year. Tommy's been kind of lurking in the win column, and he knows how to get the job done at this speedway. I'm going to pick the Northern Tool and Equipment number 99 of Tommy Ryan.
John, who you going with?
Oh man, if I were the easy gambler kind of guy, I'd go with Falkingham. He's won 1 out of 4. But nope, I am not doing that. I am actually going to pick my old buddy Bob Gillenwater. I like Bob. He's a great guy, and I've seen him. He's another one of those guys I was talking about, Wesley. He's improved so much after the last couple of years. I look for good things from Bob tonight.
My pick, keep an eye on him, number 33, Ryan Howard. That's who I'm going with. He's starting in the 4th position. Where we go. Starting lineup at Daytona. On the pole, Josh Parker by virtual winning the pole 2 weeks ago in the Pepsi color, number 81 to the outside. Charles Woods at number 40. Row 2 will find Nelson Rivera in 22, and my pick, Ryan Howard in 33. Row number 3. By the way, row 2 were your dual winners last week. Donnie Lee, a real racer, to the outside. Mark Jorgensen Jr., the number 88. Row number 4, Mike Kelly in the 2. Elliott Henderson in car number 37. And to round out the top 10, Stanley in the 12. Stoney Benfield as the pace car rolls off pit road.
Inside row 6, Byron Daly in that 06 car. To his outside, Jose Gonzalez in the 26 car. Row 7 finds Chris Gabot in the 5 and Shannon Wood to his outside in the 02. Row number 8, we're going to see Brian V. Macklin in that 30 car. Ed Burrell to his outside in the 21. Row 9 finds Richard Beasley, the Tide Ride in the 10 car. To his outside, Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 car. Rounding out your top 20 is Trey Edson in the number 7. And to his outside, Doy Woods in that Texaco number 28.
Doug Sigman in the 04, row 11, and David Comstock in 13. Row number 12 is going to find Scott Stensel in 42 and Tyler Dalton in the 19. Row 13 on the grid will find Jeff Ryan. We talked about him in the pre-race, the number 3, and Thomas O'Leary the 4th in the 08. Row 14, Bentley Glazer in the 18, Bobby Weitzel in the 9. And around out the top 30, Jimmy Coleman in 54, John Fowler in 48. There's your top 30.
Row 16 finds Doug Roth in the 43 on the inside. To his outside, Eric Arnold in the 31. Row 17's Kevin DeBrown, the Racing Pride car, to his outside. Mark Crichton in that number 20. Chad Coleman on the inside, Mr. Ironman, 902 starts tonight, number 903. To his outside, my pick, Bob Gillenwater in that number 4. Row 19 finds Glenn Campbell. Glenn, the Rhinestone Racer Campbell in the 44 car. To his outside, Tommy Ryan in the 99. And row number 20, rounding out your top 40 drivers, 6 car of Mike Montezi. To his outside, Gerald Livingston in the 96 car. Bringing up the rear of the field, Falkingham, the 39, row 21. To his outside, Randy Yoakum in that 8 car. And bringing up Charlie, tail end Charlie there, Trey Edson, the 7 car.
And the green flag flies through the air. The lineup is set. We are racing. The season underway for the NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series at Daytona. And it's time for the LSRTV Feel the Roar. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. The field flies through the tri-oval on the opening laps. And quickly, it's Parker out in front. Rivera nestled behind him with Leah. 3 cars single file. Top 4 now pulling away single file, John. And then they're 2 by 2 in full song down the super stretch.
Yes, indeed, they are, Wesley. I'll tell you what, it's been kind of I wouldn't say tame. Yeah, I would. Tame first couple of laps. We haven't seen a whole lot of slicing and dicing. So I think, we kind of figured that was going to be the case with these guys, just kind of getting the feel for this car and letting things settle out a little bit before they get it to it. But man, I tell you what a race already. I mean, those sights we saw there, those camera shots from Cody down to the trailer, that shaking and that noise. God, I love that.
All the noise, and live for the noise as they go back to 1. Parker on the inside, Rivera with Leo right there with him. Closing in is also Kelly. All these drivers had something to do with the fits of the duels last Monday night. You got to settle yourselves in. We're just only, look at this onboard cam. This is from the back camera view. And the battle cam up on the top. As you just see some of the features that are going on is, I believe that was on board with Kelly in the 2 car, or actually the 33 of Howard. As the field works their way through the triangle, through the tri-oval, another lap in. So far, no harm, no foul. A long way to go in this race. We're already 5 laps in.
5 laps in, but man, what a thrill we've got going on. I tell you what, if you look at this view right here, Wesley, you'll see what I was talking about with these cars. We were talking about how loose they tend to get and how hard it is to save them. There's about a 3-inch gap there on the nose. On the side rails, you got about 1.5 inches. And then there's, I don't know what that thing is that comes out from behind the front tires, but it's like a channel that comes out from the bottom right there. And then on the back end, you got that diffuser. So, when these cars step out, when they yaw that back end out, left or right, it's so hard to catch it now. Because, back in the day, those cars were sealed to the ground. You wouldn't see any kind of a gap on the nose or the sides of these cars back then. But these guys are doing a great job right now, man. Still 2x2 back there from about row 3 on, or row 4 on back. And they're taking it easy right now. We just have a 3-car breakaway up front, but I don't think it's going to last very long.
Nobody breaking out of line right now, staying to the inside of the racetrack. Parker, the man out in front, Rivera, Leah. Everyone now 2x2 behind the top 4. I bring back in our race analysis analyst on the coverage for the drivers as well, and that is Kevin. Kevin, pit stops are going to be a premium to watch here tonight at Daytona, and even we got to look out for the ghost car. You got more details on that.
Interesting dynamic of this racetrack. In the real world, it has 40 pit stalls. Of course, we started 43 drivers, so there's no place for those couple of extras. The drivers that started out in the back of this pack will roll up to the first, second, and third pit stalls and share a pit stall with another driver. When they come into the pit, if the driver who has first, second, and third occupies that pit, the car will disappear for them, and they'll pull in and see their livery of signs and such, and then they'll pull away, and it'll be just like it was their pit stall. And, imagine that each of these drivers see what they're going to see out their windshield, and the game, the sim, takes care of, getting that straight for them. So 1, 2, and 3 pit stalls for the drivers who started out back here tonight.
Definitely keep an eye on that. Again, only 40 cars now start in the NASCAR Cup Series, but of course the iRacing simulator has 43 starters, so 43 drivers coming to the green flag, ready to go. Here comes now Gabo trying to join, if you will. Shades of Kyle Larson and the Hendrick Cars Machine Chevrolet with the defending Cup Series champion and winner yesterday at Auto Club. He settles in for third. It's Parker, Macklin now, Gabo, Rivera, Leah, top 5. They're starting to get 2x2 in the front of the pack going to 3.
Macklin dives down to the inside there of Parker in that 81 car. Macklin in the 30 Trans-Service Cup car. And he dove down looking to the inside. He was hoping to get a push there by Rivera. It didn't work out for him as that high line was. It seems like they're going to be pretty hard to beat right now.
Wow, riding on board with Brian Macklin. Look at this visor camera from the left view. In front of him, the 06 Daly. To his outside, the 5 of Gavo. All going at as they have a little bump. You got to respect everyone in front of you, behind you, to the side of you. Yes, side draft. There is that view. As here comes now Rivera peeking to the inside. Leah there also in the 3.
Leah down there kind of lost a lot of ground right there. What that was they stayed on the inside there behind Rivera, and some guys from the upside there, the outside line, jumped down in front of them. That of the 5 car, Chris Cabo being one of them. Basically, we talked at the top of the show, some of these guys might fade back and stay out of the way. Well, I'm looking at 3 guys, Thomas O'Leary, Mark Crichton, and Trey Edson. They've all lost the main draft. I think Edson might have started from the pits. You see him right out in front of the leaders right now, about maybe a quarter of a track away. He's about to get lapped, as we see him right there in the camera.
10 laps completed this time by, and look at him going 3 wide. Look at this. And excuse me, coming through, Macklin through, Daly through, Gabo through. 3 cars sticking it to the inside on a 3 wide. Parker stuck 3 wide as they work out of turn 4. Up on the outside, the clown to the left of me, Joker to the right, Simley and Jorgensen splits Parker. He finally goes to the outside lane as they come to the tri-oval. And just like that, John, Parker goes from the top spot to the middle of the top 10 going to 1.
Yeah, that really shook things up right there, and it's unfortunate, but hey, he made it work out. He didn't vault too far back, and he didn't get in a wreck. That's the most important thing right there, as we see these guys quickly catching up now. Trey Edson, the 7 car, he started from the pits, missed the start of the race, and he's going to go 1 lap down already, but he's not by himself. Mark Crichton and Thomas O'Leary Jr. also way back there in the back. So if this keeps going green here, Wesley, we will have at least 3 cars 1 lap down.
What a save. We just saw those drivers working their way, and they're not done yet. They're still going to stick it 3 wide. Jeff Ryan, one of the drivers Kevin mentioned earlier, they're going to stick it below the yellow line. They'll hold it together 3 wide, almost 2 rows deep, and now we're about to fan back out to the outside lane as here comes Gabo. He'll take it door to door, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. I ain't talking about construction. Here they work their way up the bank and off of turn number 2. Gabo, you're on board with him now. He is out in front. How long, though? It's a hornet's nest behind him down the backstretch going to 3.
Yeah, he's got that lap car up there with him. of Trey Edson. Trey's not damaged, so he's able to keep up with these guys and actually be a factor in the drafting that's happening that top side line right there. In the meantime, Leah is starting to work his way back up into the top 5 after dropping back to about 10th. It only took 10 laps there, Wesley, but we're seeing some slicing and dicing now. 3-wide racing here at Daytona. Not something you see very often, but we're seeing it now. Here we go.
Kevin, they quickly are not wasting no time being aggressive. You're seeing this. You're taking what the drivers were talking about in the early going.
Yeah, this is what the drivers wanted to test. They have not been out on the racetrack with all the cars at one time. They wanted to know if the inside lane was going to work, if the outside lane was going to work. Another thing they're testing is how the car sucks up. We know this car does not get as good a draft as, say, the Xfinity car we raced last night. And when it gets in tight to the car, in front of it, it hits the bubble. It's a little nervous. We see Josh Parker bang the wall earlier.
That's right. And look at Parker back up to the front again. Kevin mentioned him. He was all the way back in the top 10. Now he's back to the lead. And lap cars are in the way. That's Edson, the 7 car, now being stuck in the middle of the racing pack as they work off turn 2.
Edson's leading this pack, but he's on the tail end of the lead lap there, Wesley. Not something we're used to seeing very often, man. So it's going to work out in his favor if there's a caution right now. But in the meantime, he's leading this pack, and wow, what a breakaway. We've got a 6, almost 7-car breakaway here on the top line. And now we see the 48 car jump down that inside line. That's John Fowler. And that 48 car going to jump down in front of Chris Cabot on the 5. See if he can't help pull those guys back up to the front. Boy, that bottom line, man, they come and go real quick there. They've only got 4 guys now. Somebody's going to jump out. That's the 06 of Daly. Wow.
Did you see Bailey go from the inside lane to the middle of the outside lane and pull in front of that other traffic and successfully pick off one by one and not have any issues? What a drive there as they work off turn 2.
Wesley, we've said it time and again watching these guys, even in the Winter Series. These are some of the best in iRacing, and they're showing it right now. Great racing up here. Lap 15 out of 120, and still Trey Edson up front of this line, this Congo line we've got going on the outside. Oh, there goes Macklin stuck in the middle, fading back fast, Wesley.
Yeah, that battle now working inside the top 10 is now hung out to dry as Macklin. The black and yellow number 30 car, there you see him in the middle, is right now. Cabot now picks a lane to the inside, to the middle, back to the outside. He'll go to the top shelf. Lap cars in front of the leaders. Edson right in front of the leader. Parker, 4 cars in their way as they work off turn number 2.
That's the 20 car of Mark Crichton they're catching right now. He's maybe a half a second in front of these guys, and they're going to catch him fast, Wesley.
He says, have at it, boys. I'm getting to the inside of the racetrack. I'm going to let you guys go. Right there. See? Look at that. Go, go, go. Get out of the way. And he certainly does that. Now for Edson, he's not. He's still in front of this madhouse of traffic as they work their way 2 by 2. A tango and a tussle off the corner. Back to the middle. You're on board with him. Here comes the 48 of Fowler. He's going to carry Rivera with him on the inside. Lee in the boot is inside. There's that personal injury right there. Stencil, Comstock, all in that pack as they work off 2 there, John.
We've got basically a 20-car breakaway. The top 20 have kind of separated themselves from the back half of the field by about 6 seconds there, Wesley. So it's going to be kind of like having the duels on the same track at the same time, it looks like almost, you know. You got a 20-car pack up here, then you got a 23-car pack in the back. With, 22 cars, I should say, because Edson, as we know, is up front of these guys, leading the way, but almost 1 lap down.
Parker is the leader. Stencil is now 2nd, Jorgensen 3rd, and there they are with Edson, the car, on the tail end of the lead lap. Mind you, tail end. He's not officially a lap down yet. If the caution was to come out, it would be in his favor. And if the caution right now was to fly, we're not saying that it would, but if it did, he would still be on the lead lap. As right now, Mark Creighton is 1 lap down. You saw him go a lap down. He's the lucky dog if the caution was to come out. Now, John, if he's to get passed by Parker, Jorgensen, Comstock, and more, if he gets passed by the Cavalry, then he's the first car a lap down, and Edson would get the free pass pass, go back on the lead lap. But obviously, when is enough? When is the lead pack going to try to get by this Edson car?
Well, honestly, Wesley, I'm thinking they're probably not going to be concerned about it. He's not damaged. He is up to full song right now. He is doing the same lap times they are. Hell, he's out in front of them. So as long as he's not slowing them down, I don't think they have a problem with it, especially the guys behind him. They can use him to save fuel. We all know the draft allows you to throttle back a little bit and save a little bit of fuel here and there, so they're not going to complain as long as he's not slowing them down. Now, if he gets some damage, that's a different story, buddy.
Kevin England, back to you. You like this strategy Edson's doing so far?
I like the fact that he got himself out in front of this group, and you know, he's a past champion here at SIM500, so these guys do trust him. And if you look at the trends of the race, 18, 19, 20, 3 cautions of this type of race, 2 cautions last year, 25 lead changes. You get around 20, 23 drivers that have problems on average in this race. About half the field's going to finish without some damage. And, you know, I think Edson's doing okay here. And certainly Crichton is a fan. If Trey can stay up here out in front of these guys and he maintains that lucky dog, he's rooting for certainly Trey to stay up there and keep leading that train.
While this is going on, we would like to encourage our viewers to take advantage of what is now known as the hashtag LSRTV shoutout. We have a new social feature that we'll be using tonight and throughout upcoming iRacing on LSRTV broadcasts, where if you give us the shout out, let us know who you are, where you're from, maybe put a comment like-worthy in the chat box. We'll share it during our broadcast at some time tonight. And remember, as always, use at iRacing, at LSRTV, at NC811, at SIM500 also, and hashtag LSRTV shoutout. Edson, shout out for him on the tail end of the lead lap. He's the man right there holding off Parker. Jorgensen, they're the leaders as they work off turn number 4, the conga line as John calls them. Stay single file on the outside lane. John, why is the outside lane working so much better than the inside of the racetrack? And we're seeing in years past with this car than in the bottom of the years past with the car on the bottom of the racetrack.
I honestly wish I had an answer for you, Wesley. I've talked to some of the let's call them the geek squad at iRacing. They don't have an explanation for it either. They don't have any difference in the grip. It's not like we put PJ1 down virtually on this track. It's just the way this thing works out. And we saw it in the duels. We're seeing it tonight. The outside line is really strong. It's going to take a bunch, and I mean a bunch of drivers to commit to the bottom line to be able to be competitive with that top line.
Kevin, we'll bring you in this. Why do you think the outside lane is such a better opportunity for these drivers in the early going with this new next-gen car?
I think right now it's be where they are. You got the fast guys up to the outside, everybody tucked up right behind them. If they get organized down on the bottom, we saw Scott Stenzel tried to make a run of it down there. He got kind of shuffled off to the middle. Nervous times for him. Looked for a hole to the outside, then saw an opportunity, went back down. I think they're just not organized on the bottom, but if they are, it's a shorter way around the racetrack. They might be able to make it work.
We just passed over 50 miles in this race in the Daytona 500K, 120 laps. We're under 100 laps remaining. We're working now 23 completed this time by the way, John and I will give you a full field rundown beginning at lap 25. As right now as it stands, it is not Edson. He's the car on the tail end of the lead lap. But right now, the 81 car, the defending champion of last year in the NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series, when it used to be known as the Trans Service Cup Series for the Monday Night SIM500 League, Parker leads the way in that car number 81. Of course, the man is the defending champion, as we mentioned, from Rhode Island, the Shenova Race entry 12. And right now, taking everybody to the woodshed. Jorgensen right behind him in second. In third, Comstock. And right now, as they continue to follow them, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 cars. That's actually a pack now, John, have pulled away. One car, Macklin all by his lonesome on the inside. Not going to work there, buddy. You better get back in line. He does just that as they go to turn 1.
Yeah, he got lucky with that right there. You know, I was looking at the timing here, Wesley. Remember, we said that the top 20 had kind of pulled away and made themselves their own pack right there. Still the case, but a couple of those cars have actually managed to catch up and pulled back up to the pack. So now we got like a 21 car pack. And then you see not too far behind them the rest of the field coming. But man, I tell you what, I'm just really impressed by the outside line right now. The way these guys are just holding that line up there. You see 1 or 2 guys every once in a while duck down, try to make something happen, and instantly regret it. It's like they pull a parachute or something.
Field works their way back through the tri-oval. We're 25 laps in. Let's give you your full field rundown. It's presented by NC811. Call before you dig. Josh Parker leads. Mark Jorgensen is second. David Comstock is third. Chris Cabot is fourth. Bobby Wetzel the top 5. Elliot Henderson is sixth. Brian Daly is seventh. Byron Daly. Brian Macklin eighth. Shannon Wood ninth. And Ryan Howard, my pick right now in the top 10, John.
Jeff Ryan in that 3-car 11th. Arnold, the 31 car in 12th. You got John Fowler in the 48 car. Nelson Rivera right there at 14th. Donnie Lee in the 29 car back there in 15th. He lost a few spots there, Wesley. Mike Kelly in that 2 car up there in 16th. Scott Simley in the 17th place in the 12 car. Jose Gonzalez started up front. He's kind of waded his way back to the back there in 18th. And Richard Beasley in the Tide riding the number 10 car in 19th. And your top 20 rounded out by Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 car.
Charles Woods is 21st. Stoney Benfield 22nd. Jimmy Coleman 23rd. Doug 24th, and Scott Stencil flip-flops now with Tyler Dalton for the top 25. Stencil will now go back to 27th. Gillen Water 26th. Doy Woods 28th. Ed Burrow 29th. And Kevin DeBrown rounding out the top 30.
Buckingham back there in 31st. Chad Coleman in 32nd. Chad's done 902 starts. This will be his 903rd start tonight. That's impressive. Mike Montesi in 33rd. Doug Roth, 34th. 35th, Gerald Livingston. 36th, Randy Yoakum. 37th, Tommy Ryan. 38th, Thomas O'Leary. 39th, Bentley Glazer. And 40th is Justin Mons. And we have somebody on pit road already.
Pit stops. Glenn Campbell on the pit lane, by the way. And Austin lap down. Telling the lead lap is the driver.
Oh, he's got damage.
Edson, and there's damage on Campbell's car, the train service number 44, the winner of the finale, by the way, for the Blizzard Cup Series season. And Campbell is on the pit lane, and right now there you see Macklin's car, the other trans service sponsored machine Toyota, nestled behind the driver of the caution flag. We're closing in on 30 laps. Kevin England, you're taking the race so far, and we know pit stops are looming in about the next 10 laps.
Yeah, just kind of surprised at the calm demeanor of this. I know a lot of drivers saw that race last night. It was a melee, so to speak. There were a lot of different big events, and I think a couple of these guys are ducking and hiding. And what that means to me is as we get to the second half of this race, it's just going to go crazy. These drivers are going to really start to pick up the pace.
Yeah, we're just about 10 laps or so laps away from being 1/3 of the distance, if you want to call it that. 40, 80, 120 for 120 circuits. 2 attempts at a green-white checker in this fixed setup series. And by the way, no fast repairs. John, you got what you get. If you tear it up, you might call it a night.
Yeah, it's going to depend on how bad the damage is. I saw this personally in a few Daytona runs in the Open Series. The car could take some damage as long as you're in front of somebody. Your nose damage won't matter too much. You won't be able to win the race, of course. But the big question is if you damage the engine or not. If you're low on power, then yeah, your night's pretty much over with. There's no fixing that. And all you're going to do is ride around all night long by yourself. Oh, here we go. Oh, never mind. I thought for a second there, Comstock was going to make a bid for the inside there, but he changed his mind. But yeah, Wesley, damage can be a killer here on this track.
We have officially completed 1/4 of the race this time by 30 laps. 90 to go. Through the Geico restart zone, back through the start-finish line. Here comes the field at speed. And again, they continue to catfish up on the outside lane. They're in the Angels Expressway. Parker, the man that still leads. Edson on the tail end of the lead lap. And we are underway at Daytona. We're going to go side by side. You do not miss a moment of the action. There's your Saw Blade top 5 with Parker, Jorgensen, Comstock, Gabo, Wetzel. And this is iRacing on LSRTV, back from Daytona.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
No change in any of the positions on the racetrack. Welcome back to coverage from iRacing on LSRTV. John Mushton Jr., Kevin England, our analyst. I'm Wesley Outland. And right now, 32 laps completed. Edson still the man in front of the lead pack. He continues to carry the conga line single file up. Turn number 2. John, no one breaking out of line, but you got to look at Josh Parker. It looks like he might be getting impatient on the 7 car.
He might be. That's good. You know, I mean, he's got the lead, but he's got the last car in front of him, and we're getting ready for pit stops. It's lap 34, another lap 35. We know that sometime in here, somebody has to start pitting. See these guys start drifting down to the inside there. I wonder if Parker's going to let Edson stay up front for this, or if they're going to try and get around him now.
Kevin England, I bring you into the fold now. Pit stops, is it time for having friend or foes, or is it still too early in the going?
Yeah, hopefully these guys have figured out to get to their teammates. They're going to communicate to each other on the common radio channel as to how they're going to go in. They typically indicate left, right, so they don't drive in nose to tail. They could find space in case somebody overruns something. And, you know, we'll just see how much decorum they're going to have when they pit. So you're right, it's pit stop time right around the corner here.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that as they work their way back across the start-finish line coming up here off of turn number 4. No change in any of those positions as they work through the tri-oval. As Parker is the man out in front, Jorgensen to second. You know they're right there with one another, Comstock and Gabo. Top 5 along with Wetzel up on the outside lane. No one is jumping out of line just yet as they work their way off of the corner. Down the back straightaway. Kevin, mute your mic on TeamSpeak. Back straightaway. Parker holding on to that spot. Edson there, still that lap car on the outside lane. Parker, Jorgensen, Comstock, 2 car lengths, now reeling him into half as they work their way. Up in the wall goes Comstock. What a save. He'll hold on to it. It almost made everybody get antsy on the back of the pack, John. What a save there. And it all started with Comstock just getting a little wiggle there. Opens the door. Daly to the inside. And here comes the cavalry, coming through up on the top shelf.
Yeah, Daly he was trying to get out of the way in case Comstock didn't save that car. That was a fantastic save by Comstock. I mean, give it to the guy, though, man. That's Dave Comstock. He's been doing this a long time.
But you got to notice the ripple effect. We saw the 13 of Comstock get up in the top shelf. He started to get into the next thing you know, everybody behind him started to get on the binders. You started to notice people whacking off the throttle, getting on the brakes, bobbing and weaving, trying to decide going inside or outside. Granted, that wasn't a bad disaster, but it could have been, as Parker peeks to the inside, trying to make a move on Edson. Nope, nothing there yet. Single file. Here comes the inside lane, starting to get something brewing on the top 10 single file as they go to 2, led by Brian Macklin in the 30.
Macklin just jumped down on that outside line. He sees these guys coming. Meantime, Edson drops down the inside. So does Parker, and so does the 88 of Jorgensen. They saw these guys coming, Wesley. Figured, hey, why not? Let's jump down there, ride this train out, leave that outside line behind. And sure enough, look at that. The entire outside line just dissolved kind of into thin air there. As we see the 13 of Comstock, the 5 of Gabot, and the 9 of Wetzel kind of stuck outside there, losing ground now.
For most of the time, they were up on the outside lane. Now they come to the inside of the racetrack as they shut the door on Macklin. Macklin got all the way up to 4th. More cars being passed below the bottom of the yellow line a lap down as the leader is Parker, defending champion of the SIM500 Cup Series. He's got Edson, the lap car, the car on the tail end of the lead lap in front of him. He has held his own the entire race. No one getting loose now as here comes 31 pulling out of line. Arnold trying to get something back going on the outside lane, and that Virginia 811 call before you dig entry. Pulls to the inside, to the outside, pulls in front of Macklin as they travel out of turn 4.
And here we go. I figured we'd see pit stops here pretty soon, and here we go.
Cars are coming down to the pit lane for service also. You know you got to pit within a pack, because if you don't, you're by yourself, you're a sitting duck. Nelson Rivera on pit lane, Donnie Leah on pit road, Mike Kelly, Scott Simley, and Shannon Wood, the first of cars in a pack that go to the pit lane. They're having service done on lap number 40, 100 miles in, and the leaders are on the back straightaway. There you see some of the work being done from the camera shot off pit road. Here comes now Rivera off pit lane. Leah follows. Everyone else also coming off the pits. Got to be in a pack. Can't pull back on track until you get to the blend line on the back straightaway. That's that blue cone, and then they'll be in a pack at speed. But you know, here's the thing, John. You want to pit with multiple cars, because if you're by yourself, you're a sitting duck.
And it looks like this guy right here, this poor guy in the Coast Guard car, not only does he have some damage, and I think that's it's very hard. I think it's the 97 car. He's got some damage on his car, but he also came in by himself, it looked like. We saw Stoney Binfield in 75 just drive by. Here goes the 7 car of Edson, finally came in and got his pit stop done. And you know what that's also going to do there? That's going to take Trey Edson out of the lead lap, I do believe. He's probably going to fall down to about a lap behind now. As we see these things cycle through, we'll see who made the mistake of coming in by themselves and who have people to dance with and dance partners to get in and out.
This race is 500 kilometers. We have just passed 400. We've just passed 40 laps, which is the equivalent of 100 miles of this. As more cars come to the pit lane, Daly is in, Henderson is in, 33, Howard is in. You don't want to make any mistakes when you come off the pit lane as well. That's something else we got to be watching. Parker on pit lane, right up in front of pit stall. 2 stalls ahead of Howard. Jorgensen pulls away, Macklin down. Everyone else in the front pack now exiting pit lane now, John.
We still have about 8 cars on track that have not pitted. That's Gonzalez, Kevin DeBrown, Daniel Falkingham, Chad Coleman, Doug Roth, Randy Yoakum, Tommy Ryan, and Mike Monteith. And I think Gonzalez is on pit road now, it looks like. So these last few cars are going to be making their pit stops right around lap 42. And that's going to tell us these guys are going to all have to do at least 2 pit stops tonight, Wesley.
And Kevin England will bring you back in here as Gonzalez, Falkingham, DeBrown, Roth, and Coleman all come to the now. This totally bunches up cars. Now they're spread out around all over the virtual world center of racing.
Yeah, this is going to break things up, and we'll look at that turn 1 hero team. They pitted first, emulating what we saw in the duels. They got in and then they got out, and maybe they'll pick up enough speed where they could surge to the front. I was watching Brian Macklin go in, locked up that left front, had to get down to pit road speed, may have just made it, and it must have been close. He was close to getting a penalty.
So all the cars have now made pit stops. Every car from position 1 down the scoring pylon have all pitted. 1 lap down is Sigmund in the 0-4. If a caution was to come out, which would be the first yellow flag of the race, he would get the free pass. There is other cars multiple laps down. And Daly now cycles back around as the leader, as there is Howard and Leah and the 9 car of Wetzel right in front of the pack, and they're starting to reel in one another. This is about to become 8 cars, reeling in another dozen cars. And here comes a 20-car freight train now with that man up in front. Daly leading them, the silver, number 06 to the inside. Maybe not for long. Macklin bobs and weaves to the outside lane. He'll carry now Rivera and Parker with him as they work out of turn number 2 in their 2x2.
Down on the inside, we got that 06 of Daly being pushed by the 27 car. You got Nelson Rivera, the 22 car behind them. Then you got Donnie Leah back there with Mike Kelly pushing him. It usually spreads these guys out, but it just seems to me like it bunched up these guys that pit stop did there, Wesley. Got Edson stuck in the middle there.
And now Macklin working up on the outside lane. He'll go back to the lead. Comstock right behind him. Jorgensen and Parker, the pole car, now falling back to 4th. Kerry Gabo with him also. Outside lane beginning to start a storm again. Daly hung out on the bottom of the racetrack. He now falls back to 8th, to 9th. Wetzel and Henderson also trying to hook up a pack on the inside lane as they go to the back straightaway.
Got the inside lane trying to side draft the outside lane. In the meantime, Edson's going to sneak down there underneath that 37 car of Henderson, and he's going to make him 3 wide right here. If Daly's smart, he's going to jump down in front of Henderson right here and ditch that middle line, or maybe jump to the outside like Henderson just did in that 37 car. Those guys on the inside, they're going to be losing ground fast here, Wesley. We've seen that already in this race. If they don't have more than 4 cars like they do right now, they're just going to continue to lose ground right here.
Scoring has just updated, and Trey Edson on the tail end of the lead lap. Ed Burrow now officially 1 lap down. The field works their way off of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. Brian Macklin, Trans-Service Toyota, out in front, the number 30 machine. Let's give you some more on this guy. Brian Macklin from Hartley, Delaware for Aftermath Motorsports. 31 years old in the Trans-Service American Lung Association Toyota. 50 career SIM500 wins. And of course, right now, he is the man everyone is gunning after. Kevin England. Could it be a Macklin night for the 30 car? He's the man out in front. Your take of the first, the opening 50 laps of the race so far.
Yeah, Macklin showing a lot of speed right now. He was almost by the skin of his teeth champion last year. Missed it just at the end. And one of the interesting dynamics, the 7 of Edson, his teammate. You have to wonder if he's going to cut him a little slack here and let him come up and get back in front. The 7 is getting the bumper beaten off right now by the 22, and he's got a good run down there on the bottom as they come off turn 4.
If you're tuned into our broadcast coverage on our official iRacing on SIM500 page, there is a vote going on. Will this race go caution-free? You can vote. If you'd like to comment, we'd love to have you let us know who you are, where you're from, who you're cheering on. And hashtag LSRTV shout out. Some new social features we have beginning tonight. Macklin leads, Comstock second. Jorgensen, Parker, we're closing in on lap 50, and still no Banana Republic flag. And if you don't know what the color of the banana is, or what the Banana Republic flag color is, it's yellow, John, as they work off turn 4.
I love you, man. I don't know where you come up with some of this stuff, but God, I love it. Yeah, we've been caution-free, surprising me. I'm not even going to lie about it. And I am not knocking the SIM500 guys at all, but it's Daytona, Wesley. Daytona is notorious for cautions, but these guys As I said at the top of the show, the best of the best, and they're making it look so easy right now. And I'm telling you, Edson is thrilling me here. Edson refuses to go down without a fight. He is not going to just go quietly into the night. He is up front of these guys, trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap, Wesley. And right now, he's doing it. He's doing a good job of it, too.
Back straightaway, working. Turn 3. Kevin, is this kind of a quieter race than what you thought it would be here to start the season?
Yeah, actually, it's somewhat what I expected. I really think these guys are going to mind their P's and Q's. One of the things I've noticed is the high line running literally the high line, half a lane off of the top. They're not pinching the cars down on the bottom. Everybody giving up space. You look at the space between the cars front to back. They're not really tight to each other, but you could bet as this race goes on, they're going to squeeze it together. And we're going to see a little more action. Everybody being conservative, and Trey Edson, he got up in front of that 30, put himself on the tail end of the lead lap. That's an interesting strategy for him. You know, he started out back, but if he can run right up front here, he stays out of the mess should there be a melee later.
70 laps to go, 10 laps to halfway when they work their way to the start-finish line. Edson on the tail end of the lead lap again. Fighting cars, Parker, Macklin coming after him. Also, Rivera in the 22. Correction, that one Parker. He's in that pack, but that's Rivera sneaking to the inside. Leah going with him. On the bottom, new leader, Rivera up off of turn number 2.
I tell you what, it's a great fight up front, but Wesley, I've got a question for you.
What's that, bud?
What can you tell me about NC811?
Well, I mean, NC811, we're excited to have them be in Morehouse. As a matter of fact, watching from Arizona as he's getting ready for more work obligations. But, you know, they just announced 2 weeks ago NC811 and Virginia 811 is the title sponsor for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race in a couple of weeks at Martinsville Speedway, celebrating their 75th anniversary, but not a proud title sponsor of the SIM500 Cup Series. But yes, before you ever consider getting in a swimming pool or wanting to dig a hole or a trench or putting up any type of a building, commercial, your backyard, make sure you are doing the proper things of not hitting power lines, water lines, sewer lines, anything of that caliber. You can call 811, call before you dig, and they will do all they can to make sure that your property where you are wanting to have these works done is in safe location. There's not anything conflicting with it. And it's honestly, it's just a courtesy, John. If you're gonna put a swimming pool in, make sure you don't knock somebody's lights out in the process. Call before you dig. 811, NC811, proud sponsor of the SIM500 Cup Series. And in addition to that, they're all over the country. They're in Virginia, they're in the US of A, they're in Puerto Rico, they're in Mexico, they're all over the place. And if they're not, you should get a hold of them someday.
Absolutely correct. I tell you what, I've dealt with the Louisiana chapter down, I guess it's a chapter, what you call it, I don't know. Back when I was doing installations for cable and satellite TV. And it's handy, man. I'm telling you, nothing can ruin your whole day more than striking a sewage line where you don't expect one. And I'm speaking from experience.
Closing in on halfway. Back to Daytona. That's right. Nothing's changed. As Rivera is on the inside. All right, so where's your pick at, John? My pick was Howard. He's sitting comfortably in the top 10 in 8th position. Where's your pick at now, John?
Bob's sitting back there in the 23rd spot, just taking it easy. He knows it's got a long race to go. So, yeah, he's just chilling out back there.
Kevin, where's your pick at right now on the racetrack, bud?
I ain't worried about it. He's sitting back there in 31st, just kind of pacing himself, keeping that front end clean. I told you.
I in no way was trying to. I didn't realize where everybody was at. I was just like, hey, where's your pick at right now? But actually, my guy's at the top of the litter, if you will.
Dragging away there, Wesley. Dragging away.
Oh, comments coming
You know what?
in.
I will
Thank
say
you, Keith
this.
Bradley.
I'm sorry, I
Go
didn't mean
ahead,
to jump on you there, but I was going to say it would be very impressive. I mean, it's already impressive what Edson's doing right now, stay on the lead lap like he is, but just think if he had started with the group instead of from pit road. It's unfortunate that he missed the start of the race like he did, but I'm really impressed with the run he's having right now. Let's give him a hand, man.
Yeah, and for Edson to be on the outside looking in, if you will, right in front of the lead pack and just trying to fight to get back on the tail end of the lead lap, get a lap down, fight back on the lead lap again. Here's the deal. He's between a rock and a hard place, but really not, because if he gets past and the yellow flag, when it eventually does come out, it's not a matter of if, but when. We know the cautions are always known here at Daytona in super speedway racing. If it does come out, when it comes out, he's either on the tail end of the lead lap, so he stays on the lead lap, gets to pass all these guys, or he goes a lap down, John, and then he's able to be on the free pass and go back to the front, unless he's part of the caution, which we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Because they're getting 2 and 3 wide. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You don't want to be part of the caution because that will eliminate your chance of lucky dog. But at the same time, I'm really impressed with the fact that he's just kept it up here like this. And the fact that they're putting up with it. I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of racers will put up with a lap car leading the way. But like I touched on earlier, he's not damaged. He's up to full song, and he's fast. Let's be honest, the guy is fast.
Will this race go caution-free? From the vote count, 100% said no. I think they're exactly right.
Well, yeah, it's not a knock on the SIM500 guys, Wesley. It's Daytona. I mean, right now they're calm because we're only at halfway, or almost to halfway. But when it gets down to 15, 10 laps to go, you're going to see a whole different side of these guys, I promise you.
Yeah, we'll give you the full field rundown just after halfway. He's John Bustian. I'm Wesley Outland. Kevin England joining us as well. The iRacing on LSRTV broadcast crew coming to you from the virtual Daytona. Oop, get out of the way, buddy. There's a race and you're not in it. And they're going to stick it 3 and 4 wide, it looked like, for a little bit. Ooh, hold your breath. 3 wide, 4 wide, became 2 wide, quickly going back into the corner. And they're right back on the outside lane again. Oh,
and Daly, look at that. He's going to try and jump down. Ooh.
He dropped down and he took about 10 cars with him. Led by the punt in the pants from Rivera. Leah, he says, I'll help you out. I'll give you an assist. Inside, 2 to halfway. They're back to 1.
That was, I'm sorry, that just took my breath away completely because the speed difference between Daly and Rivera, I'm shocked that they didn't wreck right there. I mean, Rivera had to check up, of course, and it's just all the guys behind him that checked up also to keep that from becoming a wreck. That was a bold move by the 06, you got to admit.
A lot of give and take so far being given. More give than take for sure, as they're 1 lap away from halfway. Next time by, Edson up on the outside lane. Macklin will follow. Comstock right behind them. Daly now getting something started on the bottom of the racetrack. Punted up in front, the lap car Edson, or the tail end of the lead lap car Edson. 1 minute he's a lap down, the next minute he's not a lap down. We're coming to halfway and the cross sticks this time by. Daly holds on, Rivera to the back straightaway. I thought we'd have a bump draft and a spin. They hold it together as Parker gets loose in the middle of the racetrack.
And that's really going to check up that outside line. They're going to lose a lot of momentum right there going down through 3 and 4. You'll get to see now that Rivera and Daly, Leah, they're going to kind of pull out in front of these guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they jump up top. We'll see what happens right here, Wesley, coming down through the tri-oval.
Parker gave us a scare just a moment ago. Boy, he was sideways. They come through the tri-oval. We're halfway home. 60 in, 60 to go at Daytona. Daly, full field rundown. Daly, Rivera, Leah, Macklin, Kelly, Comstock, Henderson, Jorgensen, Howard, Goodbow, your top 10.
Simley, Parker, Hollingsworth, and Parker slots there. Coleman, Wetzel, Gonzalez, Wood, Ryan, Woods, and Stenzel are your top 20.
21st, Eric Arnold. Then it's Beasley, Falkenham, Coleman, Roth, Fowler, Benfield, Gillenwater, Woods, and DeBrown, the top 30.
31st, I'm sorry, let me find her real quick. 31st, be Tommy Ryan just chilling out back there. Tyler Dalton, Gerald Livingston, Mike Montesi, Bentley Glazer, 35th. Thomas O'Leary, the 4th. 36th, Randy Yoakum, Trey Edson, Ed Burrell, and Doug Simmons round out the top 40, excuse me.
Mark Creighton a lap down, Justin Mons a lap down, and Glenn Campbell out of the race, 21 laps down. Kevin England, our race analysis, your thought of the first half of the opening race at Daytona.
Yeah, as I look at these guys, you know, they were content to ride. Now that halfway is through, they're starting to look at the finish, and you could see them grouping up. That inside lane is formed. Drivers are starting to switch lanes, go back and forth. We saw one driver be put in the sucker hole. Bobby Wetzel's a nice guy and let Parker back in. Yeah, you know, when we talked about how this race is going to tighten up, you're just starting to witness it live as we're running here.
Back to speed into one. And the second half of this race underway. Still no caution flag. They pitted in green flag pit stop sequence. You know they're going to have to pit again here in about another less than 15 laps. Leah is now the leader out in front. Donnie Leah, a former NASCAR Willen Modified Tour champion from up in the Northwest and the Northeast. Of course, Donnie Leah from Woodbury, New York, driving for Turn 1 Heroes. The 43-year-old now leading on the inside at Daytona. He's got some NASCAR experience. He competed in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He actually won the Mansfield, Ohio truck race in the early 2000s. He stays to the inside of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Daly finally clears Edson. Edson has officially gone one lap down, and he's stuck between cars on the lead lap there, John.
Yes, he is, but he'll be okay as long as he's not part of the caution that we know is going to come out here pretty soon. Well, I wouldn't say pretty soon, but we know before the end of the race, we're going to see a caution. If he can stay up here where he's at, stay out of trouble, keep his nose clean, he'll be okay. But I don't think Trey Edson's going to be happy with just riding around behind Daly as we see him peek down in the inside there. Question is, if he makes that move, Wesley, will the rest of the guys go with him, or are they going to put him in the sucker hole, as Kevin called it?
We're after halfway. Let's put him back at speed for you. And another one, an extended LSRTV. Fill the roar with the SIM500 NC811 Cup Series at Daytona.
Ooh.
Caution is out. Yellow flag waves. Just at the end of our LSR, feel the roar. Caution out there for a multi-car accident. And is that my pick? I think it's the 33 of Howard.
Oh.
Randy Yoakum. Oh, it's the 20 in the 8 car. Correction. Oh, my goodness, John.
That was a heck of an impact, Wesley. Did you see that?
That is the number 20 car of Mark Creighton, who was already laps down, and Randy Yoakum in the NC Virginia 1, number 8 car. Watch this pack working. First caution. Oh, it's just a bad draft. Creighton just got into the left rear and hooked the 8 car. Just a bad draft right there.
Yeah, that's going to be the conclusion of a bad weekend for Mark Creighton. I'm not going to lie. He had a bad night last night, had some technical issues that caused an accident. And here he is now in tonight's race, the big one, the Daytona 500K. And it looks like his night's going to be over with more damage. Man, that breaks my heart for him. But, hey, you know who this helps out, don't you?
Everybody.
Well, yeah.
Well, obviously Edson. It's Edson. No, he's a lap down, but he gets the free pass. Yes. So yeah, Edson will get his.
Oh.
He'll go back.
Wesley, you
on
make
the
me
lead
chuckle,
lap.
buddy.
Well, everybody's coming to pit road, but obviously Edson is going to get the free pass of the waiver round, if you will, as he is now back officially on the lead lap, and for now 2 times not stuck in front of lead lap cars.
Yeah, but he's going to have to start in the back now, and that would make me nervous. That would make me nervous.
Oh, no, dude, that 7 car has been really strong. Here comes the cavalry, Kevin England. They're coming to the pits, and we know everybody's coming in for tires and fuel. What's that quote from Days of Thunder? You've been under green for 68 laps. Everybody's got a pit, Cole.
Everybody's got a pit, Cole. I actually wonder if they're going to change tires. We saw so little tire wear, maybe 1-2% on some of these, that fuel and track position is really what you're looking for. You might be able to change 2 tires in the time that you take fuel. So if these guys are going to take some, and we do see some takers, right side only, and away goes Donnie Leah.
And it looks like Donnie Leah will come in first and exit first. Macklin right behind him. Car number 2830. Everyone else now exiting off the pit lane as well. 70 in this time by. Boy, oh boy. You know, Keith Bradley said it was the calm before the storm, and I do believe the storm is now officially brewing. 50 laps to go. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're back with more in a moment. This is the NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series, sanctioned by the SIM500 Esports League, and this is iRacing on LSRTV.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
For the LSRTV, feel the roar in Daytona as the field comes to green at the world's center of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. Lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready for the restart. Kevin England, you got an update on Bob Gillenwater.
Just wanted to talk about John's pick. When you hang out in Discord chatting with other drivers, you come to know a few things. And I wanted to point out that Tennessee's Bob Gillenwater, in his day job, he finds himself traveling here and there, sometimes for long stretches. And he was in the SIM500 FPG Xfinity race last night, which went late into the evening, and he was getting up for work for something like 3, 4 in the morning. And as we sit here at this time, we're thinking of Bob. He's probably pretty tired, but it's going to take a little time to get behind the rig and win tonight's SIM500 Esports Call 811 Before You Dig series. He's on the run.
And currently right now in the top 20, the field just took the green flag when Kevin was given that analysis on Gillenwater. Look at Rivera all up under the back of the machine of Macklin. Macklin under attack as they work off turn 4. Leah to the inside. He'll now carry Kelly with him and Sibley to follow as they work through the tri-oval.
Wow, that was so close right there going into the tri-oval. I don't know if you saw it, but Rivera came real close with door whacking Leah right there. That would have been catastrophic, Wesley, as we're going through the tri-oval with the entire field behind him.
Working lap number 70. Look at Gabo from the inside to the outside of the number 5. What a move. 2 and 3 wide racing down the back straightaway behind Leah and Kelly, followed by Henderson. Look at the battle for the lead. Rivera to the inside. To the inside. Makes a move on Macklin. Macklin falls back to the clutches of the lead. They're door to door. 1 car inside. Now 2 by 2 by 2. Noah leads the animals to the arc at full speed through the tri-oval out of 4.
2 by 2 by 2, indeed. We got a car poking his head out to the outside out there. Is that Falkingham? Is that Daniel Falkingham, who we haven't seen all long? Mr. 104 out of 420 starts winning. My goodness, here he is. Where'd he come from, Wesley?
And look at Gonzalez in the middle. He's 3 wide. Gonzalez in the middle. Comstock, Daly, Arnold, Kelly. Here they come. Working up the 3. They were 3 wide for a minute. They thought better, and then they break apart. Here comes down the 31 in trouble. That's going to be Arnold's car. Working now up the outside lane. He'll clear him. Look at this now.
Scott.
2 by 2. John, can you say they're getting aggressive now, bud? This is a totally different restart now. Look at them.
You think we were down to 10 to go with all this action? We got 3 by 3, Wesley. Look at this. Insane.
The worst thing that could have happened was the caution coming out. It looks like it's shootout time. It's rush hour traffic on 95 going on to US 1 to Daytona International Speedway Boulevard. Trying to get it into turn 3. On the outside lane, it's Macklin now leading. Look at now Daly behind Henderson. Rivera on the inside. This is for the lead pack. Top 5, 2 by 2. They're 3 wide behind them. Working lap 75 off turn 4.
Daniel Falkingham up to 7th place, all the way up from 41st starting spot, Wesley. Can you say, holy cow, where'd he come from?
2 by 2 by 2 by 2, 8 cars. Then it's 3 wide behind them. Led by Comstock, led by Stencil, Howard, Jorgensen, Ryan, Gonzalez, all in that mix. Kevin England, back to you. You mentioned Jose Gonzalez. He was a little frustrated after the Xfinity Daytona race last night. Kind of gave these guys a little driver chewing, if you will, to build up their spirits to have a good race tonight.
Yeah, Jose was just holding court last night, just talking to the veterans, saying, you know better. You know how to get this job done. Let's have a clean race. So far, everybody heard heed of what he said, and good to see Jose up in there in the mix. And now I'm watching the dynamic. You can see this field tightening up, and I like these guys who are hanging off the back of this back in case trouble comes through. Here comes Tyler Dalton into that.
Back straight away, inside Simley. The Mobile One Colors Ford hooked up with the LaRue entry, number 22, Esports entry of Rivera. Outside lane, the black and yellow Trans Service entry, Toyota, Rivera. Oh, they bounced off each other. Rivera draft on Macklin. He lost momentum. Simley stays to the inside. Here they come 2 by 2. Back to turn 1.
Got Simley in that Mobile 1 car, kind of a callback, if you will, to Jeremy Mayfield's old Mobile 1 ride back when he drove for Penske in the day. Tell you what, this is really shaping up to be quite the way. Look at this Comstock from the outside. Pulls up right in front of Gonzalez. Wow, that's being friendly right there. Gonzalez did not have to lift to let him up, but he did.
What a great piece of driving by also Ryan to get on the binders to miss him. Because that could have been a log jam up on the outside lane. Wow. And they
You were
saved
worried this
it.
was going to be a boring race.
I never said that. I never said that.
I know. I know. I'm messing with you.
Oh, I love that
Oh,
view.
my goodness.
Back to 1. Macklin now leading on the outside lane. He's going to now hook up with Henderson. Daly up on the outside along with Leah. Hooking up with also Rivera. And Simley on the bottom. Yeah. Feel the thunder.
Oh, my goodness.
They
I'll
are
tell you
a
what,
freight
Wesley,
train Hornet's Nest going to 3 there, John Buxton Jr.
Yes, they are. This race has a totally different look to it right now than it did for, say, the first 70 laps of this race. I don't know who lit the fuse on this field, but all of a sudden, these guys, Wesley, they're all over each other. Inside, outside, 3 wide, 4 wide a minute ago going through 3 and 4. I'm not sure what happened, but wow, I'm loving this.
The top 24 cars are right there in that first pack from the aerial view. Look at Henderson now, hung out to dry. He'll fall back in 37 from the penthouse house, if you will. Clowns to the left of me, Jokers to the right. Look at Gonzalez going to the outside to the inside, cutting off Henderson and more.
Wow, Falky
and you
handed
know
the same thing to Leah.
I was gonna say, and you know what? That's exactly what I was gonna tell you, because Falkenham was like, well, if Gonzalez can do it, hell can I. So can I.
Wow.
Here he goes
I'm
again.
telling you, man, these guys are woke up now. My gosh.
Oh,
What lap are we on?
awoke a
Was it
sleeping
119?
giant, if you will. We're closing in on 40 laps to go. 40 to go. Oh.
Well, by my
Kevin,
math,
maybe
Wesley,
a little, yeah. Go ahead, bud.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, by my math, these guys are going to have to all pit. If we stay green, they're only going to be able to go to 10 laps to go. Lap 110, they're all going to have to come back in. So, my gosh, what another layer of excitement to this race, if you will.
There you see the scoring ticker. It says 40 laps to go, 40 to go. We're on lap number 81. 40 laps to go. Now make it 39 to go. We'll give you the countdown mode now, if you will. Oh, one in the wall. Trouble, trouble, turn 2, turn 1. Car spinning. We saw a car bounce off the wall. And there is, the 10-car, Beasley involved, Roth's involved, everyone else in the binders. There's the 99 caught up in it. Tommy Ryan's involved. A multi-car accident. Not the big one per se yet. But the caution is out. I see Richard Beasley caught up in it. Tommy Ryan. Maybe Doug Sigmund, the 43 of Doug Roth. Here's a replay. John, we saw that car just bounce off the wall up on the outside. This was the after effect. Yeah, it was in the middle of the pack when we saw a car hit the wall, John, and then that's when it started.
Let's see who that was. This is going to be a great shot right here, the overhead blip shot.
Is it the white and black car up on the top right? I think it's him. The 19 and the 12. Yep. Let's see here. The 19.
Oh, yep.
Yep, that's it. 19 hooked the 99 of Ryan. He bounced off the 38 of Coleman. Then he got into Beasley. Everyone else got involved. That's the 19, by the way, of Tyler Dalton.
I want to know who that was in the outside car just came blazing through there.
Yeah. The 19 of Dalton right there. Bounced off the wall. and then that calls everyone else to check up. See, it already started. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeff Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So even though Dalton bounced off the wall, John, he was able to continue.
Wow. He's going to have some damage, though. He's going to have to get that hammered out. And that's the good news. If it was just side damage, a little cosmetic damage, he'll be all right.
From another angle.
Yeah, the 31 looked like warped right up into him there.
Yeah, looks like the 31 drove into Arnold. 31 Arnold drove into the 19 of Dalton. From the aerial view, high above, presented by LSRTV. Watch the 19, 31 also in front of him right now. To Brown also. Look at, oh yeah, nowhere to go. 31, oh yes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Then the 19 and the wall, Arnold around, Jeff Ryan around. And that's the caution for the second time. John, your strategy gone. Cars are pitting. You see that, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. So that's going to wipe out the fuel concerns. All of that's out the window now. Now it's going to be who can get to the front from here on out and stay up front, I think. And, I mean, we saw some crazy excitement right there, Wesley, before this caution came out up front. We saw these guys slicing and dicing 3 wide, 4 wide, just, trading inside to outside instantly without even hesitation. And that was with, 75 or, 50 laps to go, excuse me. Now we're under 40 to go. We're going to go back to green with about 36 laps to go, 35 laps to go. I predict more of the same. And I also predict the big one coming within 10 laps.
Kevin England, your take of the race so far as we approach 37 to go.
Oh, boy, pain.
It's built out the way we thought it was going to, right? Stacking pennies here. It's just going to get more and more amped up as we go along. Saw Tyler Dalton get hip checked there and crashed. Wonder if he'll be able to, we're starting to see a couple cars with some damage. Will they play a role in this race, or will they fade off to the back? And, it's one of those things where the race is ever evolving, and you're going to have to just sit forward like we are and watch it unfold.
Want to remind you that round number 2 of the NC811 SIM500 Cup Series will be in action next Monday night. Round 2 from Auto Club Speedway in virtual Fontana, California. Coverage will begin around 8:45 Eastern with our broadcast crew. You can join Kevin, John, and myself. And yeah, John, here's your favorite camera. I love it.
Well, that was my favorite camera. My new favorite camera is what I call the puppy dog shot. Where it looks like yeah, right here I feel kind of imprisoned, maybe. But that one where Cody's got it, and he'll throw it up, I'm sure. But it's like a dog looking out the side window. Yeah, this one right here. I just want to hang my tongue out and go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I love this shot right here, man. And I tell you what, let's give a call out to Cody down there in the trailer, Wesley. I mean, him and the guys in the production booth worked so hard on these camera shots, and they've come up with some doozies for us this season. And are you okay, by the way? Because that sounded really bad. I mean,
hey, I was trying to give a description of you as literally a dog chasing cars, right? It was.
Well, I'm just glad our cameras aren't up right now to show these people what we're actually doing.
We're ready for the restart. 35 laps to go. Oh, here we go. Look at them from this angle. Pace cars in. 35 remain in the field to make their way back to the Geico restart zone off of turn number 4. Ready. Sullivan, Daytona, Tri-Oval, green flag, Sibley, Rivera, front row. Up to speed. Give them about a lap. Give them about a lap before they get back to full song. Understanding there's 39 of 43 cars still on the racetrack. Anybody's racing the top 30, if you want to be honest, John, as they work off 2.
Absolutely. I mean, we still have a huge pileup here. You can see some poor guy way back there in 31st. We'll say John Fowler in that 48. He can wind up winning this thing. We don't know. But in the meantime, up front, Wesley, we've got Gonzalez leading this thing with a big punt in the pants there from Falkingham to push those guys out front. And Kelly's going to ride the coattails of that draft, see if he can't ooze on out there in front of these guys. In the meantime, down there on that inside, you still have the diehard inside guys, we call them. I look at Rivera. You got Stimley, you got Leah down there on the inside. They've loved that inside line for the most part in this race so far, Wesley.
Gonzalez not in the lead. The Macho Taco up to the front. Falkingham, one of the all-time winners, the all-time winner of the SIM500 series, the second. Kelly third. DeBrown now up in the dogfight. New names. Up in the top 5 with now under 30 laps to go, or under 30 laps to go as they go to the third 3.
Well, we've talked about this guy at the top of the show, Daniel Falkingham, from basically last on the field, 41st spot, up to the lead, and he is bringing Kevin DeBrown with him, another guy that, Wesley, you and I saw this in the winter series with this new car that I was driving. He's not a slump either. This guy, Kevin DeBrown, can drive the car. Meantime, down there on the inside, you got the Macho Taco. Jose Gonzalez, I love that nickname. Best nickname in the world, I think. Ole!
And Parker now back uphill. Macklin sideways. He's in the middle of the top 10, in the middle of that sandwich. Boy, how do you like it? Double with cheese, hold the mustard. Here goes the machine of Macklin up the middle. He's going to carry Daly with him. Clearing by Gonzalez, clearing by the machine of DeVoe. And Coleman and Daly. Look at Edson now, John, trying to make. Oh, he turned it. Daly sideways, gets into Gonzalez. Gonzalez smacks the inside wall barrier. Coleman goes around. Leah's around. Cars wrecking into the infield grass. Stensel goes around. Bobby Wetzel around. Caution out. Big trouble on the tri-oval here at turn 4.
Oh, my goodness. That wiped out a huge chunk of the field.
Oh, my. I would not say, though, that's not the big one yet. Oh, my.
Well, okay.
Here's your replay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's get that in car of that car that got up on his wheels there. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, from my favorite camera. We love speed shots.
Oh.
Look at all the hell and chaos coming at you.
That
Look at
hit by Gonzalez.
Ping pong balls, man. It's like Pac-Man gone wrong. Oh,
did you see the hit by Gonzalez on the inside wall?
Yes. That's the hard hit for Gonzalez. Watch again. On board. On board. We're on board with Macho Taco. Macho man. Watch out.
Oh.
Daly turns it. Oh, and in the grass. He says, uh-oh. He hit the pit cone. Oh, no.
So to add insult to injury, that's going to be a penalty for Gonzalez for hitting that cone, I think.
I don't know about that. I mean, he inadvertently hit it. He didn't mean to hit it. I mean, I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, but iRacing doesn't look at it that way. It's a commitment cone violation when you hit that cone. If enough of your car goes into the pits when you hit it, that's going to suck. Man, that was a hard hit, but he's still rolling. I mean, that's the good news, right?
30 laps to go. We're going to go to break for this goes off the rails. We're going to thank our sponsor, NC811, reminding you to call before you dig. We're back in a moment. This is iRacing. Oh my goodness. Where are you going?
What was that?
He's going northbound in a southbound lane on pit road, the 21 car of Ed Burrell. He's just happy to be here. And we're watching iRacing on LSRTV. We're back in a moment.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
for the LSRTV. Feel the roar in Daytona as the field comes to green at the world's center of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. All right, guys, mute up. Well. 30 laps to go. A calm race, the calm before the storm. And a multi-car accident. A numerous accident in the tri-oval just a moment ago. I wouldn't say that's the big one yet.
What's your
John,
definition
we're
of a
ready
big
to
one,
do
brother?
this again. Ah, a car's flipping, flying through the air. Calamity, chaos, cats and dogs.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Ready. Green flag. 29 to go.
It's a big Twinkie.
Oh, tell them about the Twinkie.
Oh, look at Cabot.
Look at this Cabot.
Wow, he got really loose.
I don't know if it was a good idea so early. I mean, these guys are not even at it full song yet. Kevin, you got an update
No, I
on some
think you might
drivers
have-
that we were watching playing possum in the back of the pack.
Yeah, one of the drivers we talked about, Ford, Robert Gillenwater, he just kind of avoided that whole thing by sitting back there. 33, the 26, the 9, 38, the 21, the 7, 22, 02,
look
42.
out! Turned!
Oh,
Leah's
Lord.
crashing! There's the big one! 3 crashes, Ryan's involved, Leah involved, Roth involved! Rivera just got plowed by Edson again. Cars down to the infield grass. In the middle of the corner, they went. Caution! There's your big one, John, and we're under yellow again.
Started right there with the 22 car. Let's see what happened here.
Gillenwater didn't avoid that one.
Oh, he was trying to get it to a spot that was occupied. Oh my goodness, man, that wiped out a bunch more cars. Oh, and Edson was involved in that one. On board now with Rivera.
Oh my
Going down the
goodness!
backstretch right
you
here.
You knew it was happening. Watch this again. On board with Rivera, the LaRue Esports machine Ford.
He just shifted
Watch
up. Did
the-
you hear that?
Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. Where do you go? A helpless feeling.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so many good cars just got taken out of the race. Falkingham
Yes, they
out in
did.
front. Kevin, back to you to wrap up what you were talking about. Thanks for pausing when all hell broke loose in turn 3.
Yeah, we were just saying that the strategy of staying behind actually helped, but unfortunately just collected it. And, you know, one of the things that happens here is when you get packed up in a restart and then everybody's coming down the backstretch, you don't really space out that much. You just kind of stay in there, assuming for a lap or two you're going to ride until you get up to speed. And, well, that was a huge crash. By my count, the 22, the 4, the 96, the 31, the 28, the 3, the 29. I could probably name less cars that were involved in that one. Big hits by several drivers. We see some severely damaged cars.
Yeah, that was about
Wesley,
10 or 12 cars, man, wrecked in the turn number 3 there, John, as we have cars on the pit lane trying to get service fixed.
Yeah, I was going to say, Wesley, it really seemed like watching that replay when we were riding along inside with Rivera's car there, that I think he forgot to shift up the fifth. So he didn't have quite the speed he thought he was going to have going down the backstretch when he made that move. Because you heard him shift up, and that's the thing with these new cars. Everybody forgets they got 5 gears. Man, that bit me in the tail end so many times when I first jumped in this car in the A Open Series. Was forgetting to shift up into 5th gear because the 2 gears, 4th and 5th, are so close. It's almost like an overdrive gear, really. And that's just my call. That's just what I saw from my point of view. We'll probably maybe see if we can't get with him later on and ask him about that. But that's what it seemed like anyway.
3 cautions back to back to back also, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's like Keith Bradley, the animal out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Told you the storm was brewing.
Thanks, Keith.
John, we're not done yet. 27 laps to go. It'll probably be about 25 remaining. There's still a lot of racing left to go here, about less than 60 miles to go.
A lot of racing left, and not all of the cars that we've seen, Wesley, involved in these last few cautions are out of the race. Some of them will be able to get in there, get some damage fixed, and maybe still even be a little more competitive than you would think. Like I touched on earlier with this car, it's a very sturdy car. As long as you don't hurt the motor, you can still be competitive. You may not win the race, but you can still get up there and draft with these guys. So I'm anxious to see once we get going and once we get a few laps under our belts back to green flag racing, who's still competitive and who's not. You know, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. But you're right. We had some great cars wiped out in these last 2 cautions. And it kind of really changed the face of this race, if you will.
Flip-flop the numbers. Daniel Falkingham from Jonesport, Maine, the 20-year-old, out in front, the all-time winner of a series. And Kevin DeBrown from Greer, South Carolina, 22 years old. Couple of youngsters right there on the front row when we come back to the Geico Restart Zone 60. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. Let's see here. 95 laps completed. 25 laps to go. And we're not done yet.
No, we're not. No, we are not. Oh, boy.
Parker in Macklin, row 2, fast qualifier, defending champion of the Pepsi number 81 machine. Thomas O'Leary, the 4th, in a good run. Elliot Henderson as well. All right. Ready. Pace car coming to turn number 4. It'll pick up speed as they'll work their way through the Geico Restart Zone, and it will be a 25-lap shootout. You wanted it, you got it. Who it will be the one on top. The field comes back to speed through the tri-oval. Green flag back out at Daytona. Falkingham from the outside lane to the inside lane. Throws the block on the Brown. Open the door for Macklin and Henderson on the outside now. Back in turn 1.
That might be a problem for Falkingham. We've seen that outside line actually be, the outside line be actually stronger on these restarts and faster, able to get up to speed quicker. So we're going to see how that works out for him. But it looks to me like Macklin on the outside has got the help to push him out front for the lead there, Wesley.
Brian Macklin will go to the lead. The driver of the number 30 machine, Trans Service. Driver out of Hartley, Delaware for Aftermath Motorsports. Back to the front again, that Toyota. Sells to the outside lane, back to the inside. You can't block both lanes twice. Here goes Falkingham. Henderson up on the top shelf. Inside, outside, middle lane. You got to choose one lane to block. You can't block them 3 wide, 1 lane fast, and they hold them off. Look at Falkingham up under the back door. Macklin back to 1. It looked like Henderson lost ground on the outside lane this time.
Yes, he did. What happened there was, I don't know what the term for it is, but basically you forget when you're following somebody that you're not clear of somebody inside you sometimes. And when they go to make their move down, you'll try to follow them, and all of a sudden there's a car right there. Yeah, he just cut down in front of Simley. What that did was that lost all of his momentum, which really bottlenecked that outside line, Wesley, which we're seeing now with the inside line just really scooting away, as our little friend Zach would say.
He went from 2nd all the way to 10th in the top 10. Right around Simley and Daly and Jorgensen. Up in the top, now all the way to the mid-pack, if you will. He's in the snakes patch. Through the tri-oval, back to turn 1 and 2. 23 laps to go. We bring in our race analysis, Kevin England. Kevin, When do these drivers start making their move? When does friends become foes, teammates become enemies, and you look for your win and the checkered flag being there first?
You have to see the aggression picking up. I think some of these guys are trying to find their teammates. We see Donnie Lee on the back of Simley. They're looking for Mike Kelly. The three of them know that they have to hook up with the front end damage of Leah. He's going to tuck in that back bumper and see if they can get up there and wrestle this lead away from Daniel Falkingham and Kevin DeBrown. Interesting that the top three are notoriously some of the most aggressive drivers, but they've played it patient here tonight. But, you know, we'll have to see. I see this field kind of breaking up a little bit. Maybe these top eight will get organized and break away, and then we're going to have that kind of race.
Falkingham on the outside. It was in the back of the pack all night long. So is DeBrown. Give a little bump draft, if you will. Look at this tandem drafting, something we've not seen for a while with these new next-gen cars. But that package provides it. Look at him, just give him a bump, and they follow each other. Two cars are better than one, John, and they're proving that in the front.
Yes, they are, but they've got to be careful not to overheat that car. There's not a whole lot of tape on these, and you can't really adjust the tape on them, but the air that's there, when it gets blocked off like that, will overheat this car pretty quickly. Saw that in the duels last week. I'm really impressed with the fact that we've got this, what is it, a 12-car breakaway now with Macklin bringing up the rear back there. These guys are just kind of stepping out away from the rest of the pack, and I believe, Wesley, that's mainly because the rest of the pack is all damaged.
There you see the Gonzalez car. There you see this pack of about 12 cars right there. Macklin on the inside in his own little world. Whoa, look out! Working one car bouncing off the wall.
Who's that in the wall?
Kelly.
That was number.
In the grass.
Oh no, it's Kelly, number 2 in the grass. No harm, no foul though. Kelly, he falls back to 15th. No caution, 20 to go here at Daytona. Now he's getting passed by the second pack of traffic, if you will.
Yeah, he hit that wall a ton, man. He's probably got some extensive motor damage now. Probably should just go ahead and get down out of the racing line and try and stay out of the way.
And at one time, Kelly was a contender. He falls all the way back in the clutches of the top 30 now. Another car to the inside says, have at it, boys. There's always next week at Auto Club. Here comes the field through the tribal. Under 20 laps to go. 19 remaining. It's getting good. The light bar is green at Daytona above the flag stand. And it is go time. Final 50 miles at the Virtual World Center of Racing ongoing. Falkingham topside. DeBrown is there. Here comes also Parker. He'll hook up with O'Leary in the Virginia 811 call before you dig entry. Comstock and Cabot, top 5 now, going to 3, John.
Going down into the 3, but we saw back there towards the back, it looked like Macklin was trying to hook up with the 30 car, I believe that. I'm sorry, not the 30 car, the 37 car of Henderson back there. Down that inside line. Yeah. They're trying to make something work down there, but Wesley, I don't know if they're going to be able to. I think they're going to need a little bit more help.
And you got to remember, in the last restart, both of those cars fell to the back. They both fell to the back. Macklin and Henderson both did. And now they're trying to pick up the pieces, if you will, like the old 70s pop song instrumental.
Wow, they're doing
and get back to the front. Outside lane, 2 cars somehow trying to overtake 9 on the outside lane. The inside lane is working for the drivers of Macklin and Henderson as they go to 3.
Down into 3 they go. They're kind of bogged down right here with Comstock on the outside and Cabot. Like I said, they're making a little bit of headway, but I really think if they had maybe 2 more cars with them, they'd be making a lot of headway a lot quicker.
Well, there goes Gonzalez. At one time, he was up in the top of the pack. The Macho Taco involved in an accident in the early going, one of the big ones of the night. Working off of turn number 3, there you see some more beaten, battered, banged, and bandaged cars on the bottom of the apron. Look at this now. 08, Leary pulls out a line from the outside lane to the inside lane, and there's your 4-car tandem there, John. 17 to go, and they're reeling him in like bait on a hook in the 3.
Yeah, but that's not what Macklin wanted. If you look at the right front of the 08 car, he's got some damage on there. He was involved in an earlier incident that may actually slow that inside line down. We're going to have to find out here. He's beating the heck out of that bumper, though, isn't he?
Giving him a nice bump draft, that tandem draft, if you will. Looking him right up under the back end of that car. The Chevrolet, the Toyota, the Chevrolet. Right there, a Ford behind as well. By Edson's car. O'Leary in the pack. And look at him work off the corner. 15 to go this time by. Who wants to win round number 1? At Daytona next week, we're at Auto Club. Oh, and by the way, Season 3, first-year season of the Next Gen Cup car for the Northwest Racing Series is also next Monday night, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. Justin Prince and myself on the broadcast call after the SIM500 Cup Series on iRacing on LSRTV. Falkingham leads. They're getting single file now. 15 to go. John, back to 1.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that's what was going to happen with Macklin and Henderson back there. Once the 08 jumped down in front of him like that, O'Leary's got some damage on that right front. You can literally see his tire through the fender, and that's definitely going to act as a kind of a parachute almost. So they lost the momentum they were making down there on the inside, so they jump back in line right now. But with 15 to go, I would not be surprised if within the next couple laps we see the 30 car try to make that move down there on the inside again there, Wesley.
That is 11 cars in a single file conga line working through more lap traffic. In front of them on the outside lane, the leaders are there. Inside lane is lap traffic. Falkingham. Kevin with 14 to go. Daniel Falkingham continuing to try to add to the continuing win column of success for him as they move by lap traffic.
Yeah, Falkingham with Brown behind him, they're going to be pretty hard to pull around, but I'm going to keep an eye on Macklin. He's going to be the guy. And how about Henderson? This has got to be the race of a lifetime for that number 37. He's doing a great job. Can he win his first Daytona 500K? This is going to be a pretty exciting run to the finish.
We'll certainly keep an eye on that. By the way, my pick, Ryan Howard, all the way back to 33rd. Obviously, wasn't it Hollinsworth? Or, yeah, look, he's up to 14. Robert Gillenwater. And Kevin, who was your pick? Your pick?
Tommy Ryan.
Yeah. So now John's car is the best one.
John's got it.
You know, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but look down there on the inside. I called it, man. Macklin's still trying to get something going. Now, if he can get some cars behind him, that's what he needs. He needs some cars behind him. Nobody damaged in front of him, and they're going to start making some moves here. I really thought Glazer would stay on the bottom with him, but he chose to go back up top. But now he got 3 cars on there inside, Wesley, and they're making a little bit of room here and there.
Working their field through the tribal. 13 laps to go. Now make it 12 to go. A dozen laps remaining. Off into 1. Falkingham settles on the top shelf. De Brown will follow. Parker in the middle. He thought better of it. Had Comstock behind him. Maybe a shot in the punch from the left rear. He kept on going. No harm, no foul. Here comes Macklin, Henderson, and O'Leary on the inside, making a move to 3.
Look at this move they're making down on the inside here. They've caught the leaders. Falkingham on the outside with the Brown right behind him. Parker in that 81 car. And they need one more car, I think, there, Wesley. One more car, and those guys down the outside can make a bid for the lead right here.
John, who's going to pull out a line on the outside lane and hook up with the inside car? Would it be Daly? Do you think Daly would help? Do you think the 8 car or Glazer's car would help in the 18?
Well, if they're smart, they would. I mean, right now they're riding around back there for 6th or 7th. If they hook up down there with those guys on the inside, they could be fighting for 2nd, 3rd, maybe even the lead, depending on how well they do.
The old cliche, 2 lanes are faster than 1. Glazier now looks like he's trying to open the door. O'Leary lets Glazier get there, and now they've gone to the outside lane. Here comes the pack off turn 4. It all comes down to this. Your flagman will show them 10 laps to go through the tri-oval. 10 remaining. Macklin now hung out to dry. Everybody on the outside lane as they go to turn 1. Macklin's got to close in behind Daly as they go to turn 1.
Yeah, Macklin's help didn't go with him that time. Wesley kind of left him there. He's lucky he was able to get back in behind Daly, but there's still 10 laps to go. He might still be able to pull this off. Like I said, he's going to have some help, though. Those guys up front in the outside lane, they're really pulling each other really good right here, really fast, too. Falkingham, DeBrown, Parker, Comstock, Gabot, those top 5, like you said a few minutes ago, they're going to be very hard to get around.
Back straight away now. They work off 4. Gonzalez, beaten, battered car to below the yellow line. They get out of harm. Have at it, boys, to the line. 9 laps to go. Falkingham leads. DeBrown is second. Parker third, the pole car. The champion of the series of last year. Right in the cat's whisker. Comstock and Gabot. Top 5. All down to this. Everyone single file.
You know,
John,
I'm pretty sure
said
earlier, 30. So
John,
I'm just
they're
going to weigh in here real
close
quick.
in. John, they're going to close in on this other pack of traffic.
Yes, sir. They're going to close in on the traffic. Kevin, you were trying to throw something in there on the car of Macklin?
Yeah, I think he was testing the waters there, just trying to see what the run is. You know, with 10 to go, he's got to figure out how he's going to win this thing. When he pulled up alongside those guys, we saw the 81 say, no. He pulled down, did a side draft on him, stalled his move. I think you got to look at that 81 and the 13. They're going to couple together there. They have to go. When they see that charge on that inside line, that's when it's going to be game on.
And you're looking at the
I would have to
battered
agree with you, yeah.
Patriots staying to the inside of 8 laps to go. Falkingham now moving by more beaten cars on the bottom of the racetrack. Here is that pack, the top 10, if you will, from Falkingham down to O'Leary, working off turn 4. That's how strong they are, John. 7 to go. Those 10 cars stay in a conga line on the outside lane, moving by lap traffic, and no one breaks out of line yet. They're all playing possum into 1.
Yeah, I think Kevin had a really good point. I think Macklin was testing the water to see what kind of a pull he could get down the inside line. He's going to have to try this again here in a couple more laps. He's going to have to hope that help comes with him. And also, like Kevin said, I think that the guys like Parker, Comstock back there in 3rd and 4th, when they see that charge coming, you'll see them duck down, not to block, but to hopefully get the push from Macklin and those guys to try and swing out around Falkingham and DeBrown.
Through 3, working off turn 4, Falkingham, DeBrown, Parker, Comstock, Gabot, Daly. 6 cars now pulling away from Macklin from 7th on back to Henderson, Glazier, and O'Leary. 6 to go, single file, no one jumping out of line yet except the battle between Macklin and Daly going at it, and he's going to hook up now. Macklin and Henderson, here comes O'Leary. They got a big push on the inside of the turn 2.
Parker trying to throw that side draft on him again. It might have worked. It's amazing how well a side draft works on here, but they still have those 3 cars down on the inside. You've got Macklin in the 30, Henderson in the 37. You got O'Leary in the 08.
Whoa.
Here comes Parker one more time with Comstock this time. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if he's trying to side draft him or if he's trying to get their own run, but wow.
They thought about going 3 wide. They thought about going 4 wide. All the while, the leaders stay single file between Falkingham to Brown. 5 to go. Inside,
when you see that car duck up
Macklin,
there like
Henderson.
that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when you see that, look at that. They're totally abandoning Macklin down there on the inside line. When 08 jumped out of line and went back up high like that, it's like throwing a parachute open on those 2 cars right there. You can literally see them fall backwards.
It's like all that momentum that they had was lost, and Macklin said, "Oh no, I've got to get back up top." I've got to get back up top and try this again. And honestly, John, as we're 5 to go, 4 to go this time by at the line, less than 8 miles, 10 miles left to go in this race here, the only drivers that have pulled out of line has been the black and yellow 30 Toyota of Macklin and the Camaro 37 green car of Henderson. Everyone else has pretty much stayed possum up on the outside lane.
Yes, they have, and I can literally taste Macklin's frustration right now. I've been where he's at. He's got a fast car. He just needs help, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take help to get by these guys up on the outside. I mean, he can't go to the outside of them, Wesley. There ain't nowhere to go up there.
Falkingham out in front, DeBrown in second, Parker third, and they continue to stay to the outside lane. No one jumps out of line. No one takes a peek to the bottom, and more lap cars they surpass. 3 to go as Falkingham keeps it single file, outside lane. No one jumps out of line yet. When do you go, John?
Soon. I mean, it's got to be within the next 2 laps. You're down to 3 to go right now. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, you don't want to show your cards too soon like Macklin was, because everybody knows now what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and get some help down there on the inside. But now we're coming, we're halfway through the backstretch here. Coming around next time, it'll be 2 to go. Now is the time to go. You cannot wait any longer.
Falkingham and DeBrown stay up on the outside lane. Parker in a nice, comfortable spot. He fell back earlier, midpoint through the race, and now settles to third. 5 miles, 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Here comes now Cabot. He'll jump out of line. Macklin, Henderson will follow inside, and they're carrying momentum as Parker gives a punt to DeBrown as they work 3 wide. Parker sticks it in the middle. Nope, shuts the door. No one there, and lap traffic in the midst of the leaders in the 3 as well, John.
Lap traffic in there playing a part of it. We got the 5 car now. He's going to duck down. Now you see Falkingham sliding down to throw the block on these guys on the inside, bumping and banging and beating and hitting. Here we go, Wesley, coming around now to take the white flag.
CRN 1 to go. They take the white flag. Race is over. Caution comes out. 2 attempts and a green-white checker. White flag. This is it. Next flag, next lap ends the race. CRN 1 to go. We got college and high school softball, baseball, ready for the boys of summer. Final lap around. Parker out in front. They're stacked up 3 wide as they work out of turn 2.
Look at Macklin working the inside, the middle line right there. He's got help from Falkingham, who led all of these laps up to this point, now finds himself back there in 5th. Parker down the block.
Whoa.
Macklin down on the inside. Power move. Gets a shove from Jabot.
Oh,
we're
no.
wrecking.
Trouble.
We're wrecking here, Wesley. We're wrecking.
Comstock. Cabot goes upside down. Comstock flips. So does Daly. Macklin is out in front. Macklin's out in front. He's going to come to the line. Brian Macklin will win the Daytona 500K. Holy cow.
Oh, my Lord. What happened? What just happened? Holy
Thomas
smoke.
O'Leary is going to finish second. Daniel Falkingham third. All hell broke loose into turn number 3, and somehow black and yellow, Brian Macklin busted through for the win. 2 cars flipping, Cabot and Daly, by the way.
We've got to go back and see the end car from Falkingham. It's like the seas parted for him right there. I'm just amazed he made it through that wreck. Here we are, Wesley, on board. Watch this.
Wow, just listen to this. Wow. Wow.
Look at that skill.
Falkingham saved it.
He totally made me look like a dummy right there, didn't he? I've been saying all race long how hard this car was to catch and save, and he just made it look totally easy. Wow.
O'Leary got by Falkingham, just coming The entrance of the tri-oval off turn 4 to pit lane. Brian Macklin, Trans-Service Toyota, wins. Kevin England, race analysis, your take of this race. That will wild last lap, and I think it's only the first race. Think of that. It's only the first round of the SIM500 Cup Series for NC811. I think we've got some more wild moments in the next 30 weeks.
You could just feel the energy building on that final lap. I think the wild card was looking out the windshield with 2 to go. You could see those lap cars up there. Daniel Falkingham dropped down to the low lane to get a draft. When he did, it kind of broke up that entire structure. Everybody went 3 wide, and then it was just whoever came out the other side in turn 4 was going to get the win. And, well, Macklin, he chose the right lane.
And it's certainly, and we're also being told that that is back-to-back Daytona wins for Brian Macklin. He won this race, the Daytona 500K last year. Brian Macklin from Hartley, Delaware, the 31-year-old for Aftermath Motorsports, back-to-back winner. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Oh, a wild one here at Daytona. Brian Macklin is the winner. Thomas O'Leary, the 4th. Hung in the back, played possum, waited to come to the front, and missed the big one. John, he'll finish 2nd. Daniel Falkingham, all-time winner of the series, will settle for 3rd tonight. Bentley Glazer, 4th. Byron Daly in the top 5. Scott Simley, Donnie Leah. What a way for them to come back. John, Robert Gillenwater, he'll finish 8th. Kevin DeBrown, David Comstock, through the chaos, the smoke and mayhem. That's your top 10 at Daytona unofficially.
In 11th place, surviving some more of that Days of Thunder action we had going on there. Mike Montez in the 6th car. Elliott Henderson in 37. Josh Parker, 13th. He finished, man, he led or was up front most of his race there. Wesley winds up finishing in 13th place. Shannon Wood, 14th. Chris Cabot, another car we saw fighting for the lead for a while there, wound up a lap down, wound up a lap car in the middle of all that mess. 15th. Chad Coleman, 16th. Mike Kelly, 17th. Gerald Livingston, 18th. Ed Burrell. And finally, Doug Roth in the STP 43 car rounds out your top 20.
14 cars on the lead lap, mind you, a lap down or more through the rest of the rundown. Jimmy Coleman, 21st. Jeff Hollinsworth, 22nd. Tommy Ryan, 23rd. Bobby Weitzel, 24th. Stoney Benfield, Richard Beasley, Trey Edison, Justin Mons, Jeff Ryan, and Eric Arnold, my pick, will finish in 30th. Oh. No, there's my pick, Ryan Howard. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. Wow, it was a crazy race, though. Ryan Howard, 31st. Tyler Dalton, 32nd. Scott Stenzel, 33rd. Charles Woods, 34th. Jose Gonzalez, we saw him up front for a while. He finishes banged up and beat up, 35th. Randy Yoakum, incredibly insane hit he took. They got us a simulator, 36th place. Sean Fowler, 37th. Mark Jorgensen Jr., 38th. Doy Woods, 39th. Nelson Rivera, 40th. 41st goes to Doug Sigmund. 42nd, we saw him really early in the race get messed up. Mark Crichton. And finally, Glenn Campbell, unfortunately, heavy impact right at the start of the race. Wound up finishing 43rd, 81 laps down. That, folks, is the end of the lineup. What a race, huh, Wesley?
So the driver out of Hartley, Delaware, 2 years in a row for Aftermath Motorsports, the 31-year-old Brian V. Macklin, waited patiently, avoided the big one, stayed to the inside when all calamity broke loose, chaos and mayhem, and the 30 prevails for 2 years in a row, the winner of the SIM500 NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series opener tonight at Daytona. So here's what we're going to do. John Mustian, Kevin England are going to handle post-race. They're going to talk to the top 3. The finish line post-race report is coming up next, and then I'll be back to join them to wrap things up. We're back in a moment. This is iRacing on LSRTV, a wild one. Will not forget, and this is just round 1 as it's on to Auto Club next week.
And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway race fans. We have your post-race interview show coming up. Myself, John Muschin Jr., and in the booth with me is Kevin England. And first up, we're going to talk to our third-place finisher tonight, Daniel Falkingham, a guy who looked for a second like he was going to bring in race win number 104. Daniel, it was a crazy finish to the race. We rode along with you on your IndyCar cam there. You led the majority of the last half of that race, man. Talk to me about your third-place run.
Yeah, I'm just glad we didn't end up in the catch fence flipping this time like we've done like the last few plate races I've done. So at least really good to get a top 5, especially to start the season. This is the first time, this is my 4th season in the Cup Series, and this is the first time I've raced at Daytona in the season opener. So pretty hard to believe, but I'm just glad we were able to kick off the year with some really good points and actually start on the right foot instead of starting on the back foot like we've done the last 3 years. But feels good to get in 5th place. I didn't think it was going to be that good, or 3rd place, I mean. It feels good to get a good result considering where I was running in the first half of the race, trying to ride in the back. I pretty much came shotgun on the field and just was I lost the draft of the main pack after we had a little incident in the back. And me, Chad Cohen, we worked so well together trying to push up there. We gained like 13 seconds on the lead pack after pit stops, and we were right back in it. And then, of course, the cautions started coming out and stuff, and this whole race got crazy. So I feel pretty relieved to come out with a great result, but I'm really disappointed we didn't get the win because, of course, I'm very competitive. I want to win every race I compete in. And it's just so hard to win these races, especially at Daytona and Talladega. So, nonetheless, we'll definitely take it.
Yeah, Daniel, I've run a number of these races with you and certainly have called a number of these races. A different dynamic here, more of a statement than a question. Not used to you riding around in the back in the beginning. That's a strategy played out for this race, a change?
Yeah, and plus I was starting 41st on the field anyway because I kind of missed the start of the dual races and pretty much finished last. So we were stuck back there, so I figured I'd ride it out. Considering how last night's Xfinity race went, and we had a lot of the same people from last night, I just figured I'd ride it out in the back, see what was going on. And then, like I said, we had a wreck in the back, and they didn't bring out a caution. So me, Chad Coleman, and Kevin DeBrown, we all lost the pack. So that was very, very unfortunate, and we really had to spend – I never went as higher than like 23rd the entire first half because we were just trying to make up time. And like I said, we made up 13 seconds with me and Chad Coleman to make up all that time. So I appreciate all of his help the entire race. Too bad he got crunched at the end there. But it was great teamwork from all of us tonight. Definitely, we had all of us 1 through 6 there, and then all hell broke loose. So too bad not one of us could get the win, but nonetheless, still a great result for all of us that we should be proud of.
Well, Daniel, the floor is yours, sir, for any shout-outs you want to give for your third-place run.
Yes, I got to thank my new sponsor, new partner coming on board with me January 31st. I really appreciate them coming on board with me for the entire 2022 season. And also got to shout out First Air Baylock for 207 for all they do. They're sticking with me, too. Of course, you can never leave out the lobsters. I got to thank you guys for being on the broadcast. Thank you guys for coming on board this year at the LSRTV. You guys are going to be putting on one heck of a show across the entire season. I got to thank Joey, all the admins who run the show at SIM500. Thank our new sponsor, NC811 Call Before You Dig, for coming on board this year. There's a lot of great stuff going on behind the scenes with them this year, so really appreciative of all of them. I got to thank everyone who comes out races each and every week. I got to thank Team Name, Chad Coleman, David Comstock, Josh Parker, Byron Daly, Kevin DeBrown, Chris Gabot, Richard Beasley, Doy Woods, all those guys for all the amazing teamwork tonight. Like I said, too bad we couldn't come home with the win. And also thanks to my special shout out to everyone at North Force Racing, Presley Gilson over there, and all my teammates, Tyler Gary, Dylan Basin, Parker White, and Daniel Buttafuoco. Got a big race on Thursday night with Road to Pro, so looking forward to going into it with those guys. So shout out to Brian Macklin on the win. Hopefully he splits that $100 with me with that help I gave him at the end there. But no, I'm just kidding. But shout out to him on the win. And thanks to all my friends and family for their support. And thanks for all the fans who will be tuning in throughout the entire season. I really appreciate it.
And there you have it, folks. Your third-place finisher, Daniel Falkingham. And, hey, let me know how that $100 split works out for you.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to work out too good. But, hey, we'll see. But I appreciate it, John. Thanks.
Thank you for your time, son. Great race tonight, Daniel, and we look forward to seeing you at Auto Club next week. And next up, we've got your second-place finisher, Mr. Sneaky, Mr. Where the hell did he come from, Thomas O'Leary in the 08 car. Thomas, you got me, buddy?
Yep, I got you.
What a race for you, man. We saw you kind of hanging out back there with Brian at the last half of that, last 10, 15 laps of that race, watching you try to bump draft him up to the front there. It looks like you guys were really struggling, but lo and behold, you survived that crazy last lap wreck. Talk to me about your second place run, man.
Yeah, I'm just happy to have a top 5, second place if that. And I was, I believe, 41st at one time, about 8 seconds away from being lapped because that early wreck that didn't bring out a yellow. And just worked my way up and just kept digging. And we ended up working with a couple teammates to catch back up and caught a yellow flag that basically put us in the position, and had a little bit of right front damage that didn't slow us up too much, but it was actually really fast, but I just couldn't get pushed by Brian. So I ended up working with Elliot and Brian Macklin to try and make something happen, but it was really tough on the bottom.
Yeah, Thomas, when you came into turn 3, everybody was stacked up. You had some of those lap cars right there in front of you. Were you surprised that everybody bounced up the track and let you through? I saw you tag the 39 of Falkingham there, but was able to keep the car straight and run to second.
Yeah, I was a little surprised just by experience. Every time the top was preferred to be, but for that accident, I was in the best position I could be at, being on the bottom. Just good thing I didn't get hooked and go up to the top like some other guys did, but I just it felt a lot harder than it looked on the replay of hitting Falkingham, but the car actually held together. I had a damage flag and I was able to limp it back across the line, so I was really happy to get a second place finish after all that.
Well, the floor is yours, my friend, for anybody you want to give a shout out to for your second place run here.
Well, I just want to thank Joey calling me basically 3 days before the qualifying race and asking me if I wanted to race again this season. So shout out to Joey for letting me come on board and race with everybody again. I want to thank everybody, my teammates at Unacceptable Racing, especially Tommy Ryan for helping me in the duel. He pulled back to push me up into position to race my way in, and just everybody at Unacceptable Racing was all big team effort. And I want to thank our sponsor, VA811.com, for sponsoring everybody at Unacceptable Racing and SIM500.
Well, there you have it, folks. Your second place runner, Tommy O'Leary, in the 08 car. Great run, really, tonight for Thomas. Like you said, he's got some experience with these SIM500 guys. Wasn't really expected to run this season. Got the call from Joey Jatina a couple of days before the qualifying race and made it work, man. Got himself a second place run. Thank you for your time, Thomas. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
And next up, your victor, the man who avoided all of the melees and really worked his way up to the front the hard way, Brian Macklin in that 30 car. Brian, you got me, bud.
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Well, I'm not doing as good as you are, pal. You just won a Daytona. Congratulations. Talk to me about this victory, man.
Man, that was so wild. It was frustrating because the guys that were up front, the first through sixth, they were all working together, and it was very obvious they were working together. And with 10 laps to go, I kept trying to make the inside line work, and Thomas O'Leary and Elliot Henderson, they were trying to help me, and we were trying to get something going, but it was just so frustrating. And finally, it just, you knew that those guys at some point were going to stop being loyal to one another because it's the biggest race of the season. You want to win it. And when I made the move coming to the white flag and Chris Gabu dropped down, I knew at that, or I guess that was with 2 to go, but I knew it was on at that point because they had finally stopped being loyal to one another and they were actually going to race it out. And that's when the rest of us actually had a shot at it. But I don't know how that last lap worked out the way it did. I've sat here and rewatched it I don't know how many times, and I can't figure out how the C's parted the way they did, but it was awesome, and it's unbelievable.
It's kind of funny that you say that because wider is not better in the case of Josh Parker. I can tell you what happened. He went down into 3, saw the block, went down, blocked you, went up to block Comstock. They made a little touch, and that pushed him up, and that started that chain of events. And, you trying to avoid him, looks like you went down to the yellow line, and I'm going to say you got shoved through. How does it feel to win 2 in a row?
So that's pretty cool too. You know, obviously when you have a race that's as prestigious as the first race of the year is, if you won it once and you're coming back to defend, you really want to. So I definitely had it in my head tonight that I wanted to try to go back to back, and I didn't know that, you know, it was necessarily going to work out because Daytona can be very unpredictable, but obviously you have that little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and I was definitely racing with that chip on my shoulder tonight, just hoping that maybe it would work out, and holy crap, it did.
Well, that's definitely one way to say it. Well, Mr. Two-time Daytona 500K winner Brian Macklin, the floor, sir, is yours for any shout-outs you want to give.
Well, I got to first off start off by saying thank you to you guys for coming on board and doing the broadcast this year. I can't wait to go back and watch the entire broadcast. I went back and watched the last couple of laps, which was amazing. I know the rest of it's going to be awesome. Got to thank all the sponsors that are here at SIM500, you know, everybody that's a part of this. Got to thank Glenn Campbell and Trans Service because for the second year in a row, they're sponsoring me to be in this Cup Series, so that's really cool. Also got to give a shout out to the American Lung Association. They're not on the car as a primary sponsor, but that's a very near and dear cause to my heart. So definitely going to give them a shout out. Got to give a shout out to my teammates. Only Trey and Scott were in the race with me tonight, but we worked together when we could. Got Trey back on the lead lap. Unfortunately, he got caught up in one of those big wrecks, but it was still fun working with them. And yeah, I think that's everybody.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's the winner of tonight's 500K for the NC811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series here with the SIM500 League. Brian V. Macklin in the 30 Trans Service Cup Toyota Camry getting the win tonight, avoiding the big ones. We had a couple of them. It was crazy. It was fun to watch. But we're not done yet with our post-race show. We're going to take a break here for a second, go to commercial. When we come back, we'll be joined by the illustrious Wesley Outland once more, and we'll give you our final thoughts on the Daytona race and what we expect to see next week at Auto Club. So please stay tuned for that. We shall return here at LSRTV Productions at Daytona 500.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
For the LSRTV, feel the roar in Daytona as the field comes to green at the world's center of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. Welcome back to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Of course, post-race is wrapped up. That's presented by Finish Line. Remember, Finish Line is the official motorsports radio show on Fox Sports Radio in the Carolinas, iHeartRadio Sports in the Community Radio Network, hosted by yours truly. We got some great drivers lined up, included first-time Dirt Super Late Model winner this weekend of Cody Overton. That's Brandon Overton's younger brother. We've also got Kenny Collins, Burt Myers, Jason Poole, and that's all coming up this upcoming week. Mark Smith also picking up career wins, 39 and 40 in the USCS Sprint Cars in Florida over the weekend. Finish line on Wednesday. That's 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central on Live Sim Racing for the video coverage right here on this video feed that you watched this broadcast. And, of course, Kevin England, we'll throw it to you. Your final thoughts of tonight. Wild race at Daytona. Brian Macklin, back-to-back 2 years in a row, had the calm before the storm, the long green flag run, and then it got down to the final 50 laps, and these guys put on one awesome show down the stretch. When they set sail in that third turn on the white flag lap, we really didn't know who was going to come back out in front.
Yeah, it's everything you want from a race at Daytona, and Josh Parker won one race last year, and he's got the first one under his belt already, and I have to wonder how his season's going to go. First half was calm, as you said. They set the stage, set the table, and it did not disappoint. That final run to the finish was just incredible. These guys showed why they are some of the most talented sim racers in the iRacing service tonight.
Yeah, I agree with the same sentiments as well, and always a great job in the driver analyst position for the SIM500 Cup Series. John Musching, your final take of this race, but I always enjoy working with you in the color analyst position side of things. This was a wild one. It did not disappoint. It lived up to the billing, for sure.
Oh, it wasn't disappointing at all. I mean, even, though we didn't have multiple cautions, which I'm very happy to report, we did see some. We expected at Daytona, but the racing was outstanding. The give and take was outstanding at Daytona. And like Kevin said, these are some of the best in sim racing, and they did not disappoint at all tonight. Really looking forward to getting to Auto Club next week.
It was a fun one for sure. Of course, as always, we do want to thank the SIM500 Esports League, and we also want to thank NC811, reminding you to call before you dig, nc811.org. Again, if you prepare to put in a pool or a commercial line, business line, building, anything of that caliber before you start cutting holes in the ground, knocking out water, fuel lines, power lines, make sure you call throughout the country at NC811. And, of course, we appreciate them being the title sponsor, Kevin Morehouse and everyone involved with Brian Morehouse and everybody involved with the program. Joey Giacchina, of course, behind the SIM500 League, and awesome work, as always, by Charles Wooten and Jeff Stabnow in the production side of things tonight. When it's all said and done, Brian Macklin, 2 years in a row at Hartley, Delaware. The 31-year-old picks up the win. And again, as John said, we now move from the Super Speedway at Daytona to now Auto Club Speedway in virtual Fontana. That is next Monday night, 8:45 Eastern time. We've got you covered. And don't forget, all coverage including the SIM500 League, LTAC, NASRA, Power I-410 non-wing sprints, and so much more. The major series, when they run their major events, can always be seen on iRacing, LSRTV. Follow us at LSRD on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Kevin England, John Muschin, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations again to Brian Macklin. Good evening from Daytona. Round 1 in the books. We'll see you next week in beautiful, sunny California at Auto Club Speedway.